Hey, what's up, everybody? Peace, 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 people. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit, well, a couple of things. There have been a couple of shootings recently involving the ICE agents, one resulting in the death of Renee Good, I believe her name was. Rest in peace to her. I really wish that she would not have lost her life. I really wish that she would have considered her child and her life more important than trying to be in the way of the hard work that the ICE agents has to do to gain control over what is going on with all these illegals in America. I don't understand how it can be a whole year has passed and people are still acting confused or thinking that them getting in the way of the ICE people, the ICE agents, would somehow disrupt and stop their job, their duty. It appears that it's escalating and it's getting a lot more violent and dangerous for the ICE agents. They literally are risking their life. They have no awares of what could happen from day to day, from minute to minute, to hour, with people in vehicles, people swarming around them, yelling all over the place. It's chaotic, it's uncertain, it's unstable, and people making the decision to obstruct the ICE agents is what, in my opinion, resulted in the lady losing her life. Now, I know that a lot of people would like to say she was trying to go away and whatnot. She was not endangering the ICE agents. But from the video that I just saw within the hour, and I'm glad I waited to go live, it outright shows that the agent was hit by the vehicle and he responded with deadly force because she was in a vehicle that was deadly to use, and she really didn't think about what she was doing. What she should have did was stop the vehicle and complied with what the agent told her to do. But in her mind, she was on a mission. She was on a mission to do what she had to do to stop the proceedings involving the ICE agents, and unfortunately, it cost her her life. So what I want to show first is that video that I just saw within the hour. And it is the video of the ICE agents from his vantage point, what he was seeing from his point of view. And you can actually hear, it sounds as if he was hit by the vehicle of this lady. And I believe that she also was an agitator. I think that she was paid to agitate in this in the ICE agent's job, and she used her vehicle to be an irritant. And I hope that these cases are gonna stop, but let's look at the video first before I continue. Rest in peace to her. My condolences to her family, to her friends. I wish that she wouldn't have lost her life in such a way. But I hope that moving forward, that from what she did, that other people won't want to continue doing what she did, which is make a rash decision in her vehicle, which it was taken to be a threat to the ICE agent. But look at this, y'all.
The very latest on what's happening there. Garrett, good afternoon. Yeah, Trace, good afternoon. This new video will be a crucial piece of evidence in this investigation because it was recorded by the agent himself, and it shows the events leading up to the shooting from his point of view. Here is that entire video.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. It's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I said go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Vice President J.D. Vance reacted to this new video on X, saying, many of you have been told this law enforcement officer wasn't hit by a car, wasn't being harassed, and murdered an innocent woman. The reality is that his life was endangered, and he fired in self-defense. No response to the new video from city officials, but earlier today, Mayor Jacob Fry doubled down on his belief that this was a reckless abuse of power, and that any argument that this agent feared for his life.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe.
I don't know if you guys heard what I heard, but it sounded like he was hit by the vehicle. And I heard also that this same agent, ICE agent, excuse me, he had another incident with a car where he was dragged like 50 yards or 50 feet, something like that. And he ended up suffering an injury where he had to have like 38 stitches. And so this was the second incident involving a vehicle. And of course, it had to have been playing in the back of his head that he could die. And he responded, with that in mind. And unfortunately, he shot her. I want to read an article that I found in reference to Renee Nicole Good is her name. According to Fox News, she was part of an ICE watch group. And this is from a DHS source says. It says that she was a member of this ICE watch group that monitors and interferes with immigration enforcement operations. Renee Nicole Good, the mother of 3. Oh, wow. She was a mother of 3. I thought she was just a mother of one child that was 6 years old, but she was actually a mother of 3. Wow. Was shot and killed by a federal agent after allegedly swerving her car towards him. Worked as a Minneapolis-based immigration activist, serving as a member of ICE Watch. Federal sources told Fox News. She died on Wednesday after allegedly moving her car towards agents in what the Department of Homeland Security described as an act of self-defense. Homeland Security sources told Fox News that the group aimed to monitor, track, interfere, oppose ongoing federal immigration enforcement operations. The group is present in multiple sanctuary cities across the country. It says, while the group typically refers to themselves as legal observers, sources said members will often attempt to interfere with federal operations. She was a warrior. She died doing what was right. A mother named Lisa, whose child attends the same school as Goods, told the New York Post, I know she was doing the right thing. I watched the video plenty of times, but I also know in my heart that the woman she was doing everything right. According to DHS, Good followed federal ICE agents to 2 other locations prior to the shooting and was blocking the roadway to interfere with ongoing enforcement in the area. Federal authorities are looking into these groups to determine their sources of training and funding. Video circulating online shows an ICE officer approaching goods stopped SUV and attempting to open the driver's side door before the vehicle drives forward. A second agent standing in front of the vehicle then fires multiple shots at close range. Now, I looked up what this watch, let me see if I can find that again. Hold on. Because in my mind, we have many people that are agitating this situation. And what came to mind to me, of course, was George Soros. Anything contributing to chaos, contributing to keeping mayhem and confusion. He seems to be lurking in the background. And I wanted to know if he was attached to the iWatch, if his name was somehow linked to it. It says that George Soros' Open Society Foundation has not contributed directly to an organization named ICE Watch, but has provided funding to the broader indivisible organization and its affiliates, which operate as ICE Watch network that monitors ICE operations. Reports published in January of 2026 and late 2025 link Soros' Open Society foundations to groups involved in anti-ICE protests. The Open Society Foundation provided over $7.8 million to the Indivisible Project between 2018 and 2023. Indivisible Twin Cities, an offshoot of the National Indivisible organization, has reportedly led many of the recent protests involving ICE activities in Minnesota. And some sources describe activist group involved in these activities as part of an ICE Watch network, which trains volunteers to document and in some cases interfere with federal enforcement activities. I do believe that he has somehow, some way, some involvement. The point is that there's a network of people that have nothing to do with America that are mightily busy with being in the midst of causing confusion and disrupting what Trump's trying to do, which is gain back control over America, to cause the illegals to leave and basically go back where they came from. And somehow the Democrats are gung-ho, and other global organizations such as this watch, ICE Watch, is involved with causing all this confusion. And now they're surprised that one of their agitators, unfortunately, lost her life doing the most and doing too much in a vehicle. You cannot push the gas while the ICE agent is in front of the car, and then be shocked when you get shot in your, unfortunately, in her face. Rest in peace to her. I hope that people would get it together, because it's not worth the loss of your life. It's not worth losing out on raising your children. I mean, for a little bit of money, I mean, man, there's got to be something more than that. Now I want to showcase Vice President J.D. Vance. He did talk about this a little bit yesterday, I believe, and I want to go over that. Before I start, let me see what you guys have to say before I continue. Thank you all for being here. If you have not yet, please hit that like button. I don't know what it is about people supporting me. It's like, it's hard, like pulling teeth out. Jesus is coming, says, guess she should not have tried to run over the officer. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel sorry for her kids most of all. I feel sorry for her family. But unfortunately, she chose the wrong action. You cannot be in a 2-ton vehicle and press gas while the agent is right there in front of you and then expect everything is going to work out. That's just not going to work out. And I really feel that Trump should somehow get the National Guard deployed. I think that they need to wrap this up and stop with the shenanigans that are allowed to go around, and it's getting crazier and wilder looking and unpredictable, and it has to be stopped. You said AI Smart Cities, how are you? Says, how come these Aryan queens don't obey authority? This, that gold standard that y'all bed bucks be yapping about. Oh, Lord. How are you doing, Sam? Thank you for being here. Corn Fed says, exactly. Nobody should have to lose their lives, but stay out of the road, out of in front of a police officer, and ICE comply. Go home safe. Exactly. Sounds like someone got hit. Exactly, Nancy. User says 300 feet. Oh, that he was dragged 300 feet? Oh, wow. Cornfed says, yep, I've seen different videos. And if you watch the right ones, you'll see he was hit. You can hear it. They were told to stop. They wouldn't stop. F around and find out. 2 kids were removed from her except one. Oh, okay. Helix says local law enforcement should be held accountable for ignoring these protesters blatantly breaking laws. I mean, for the police and all the other authorities to be on the side of people that's causing all this craziness, and it's like we are divided. It's like so many of us that are from America are so warped in the brain and confused on what side they should be supporting. And it just is wild to witness this stuff. I'm so glad I'm not caught up in the shenanigans, and I'm glad that many of us are staying clear and out of the way of the stupidity of all these things. People are trying to bring us up by bringing out the Black Lives Matter. It's all another organization that was involved with fraud. They're now showing black faces to act like we are all in support of this anti-ICE. And I am in support of ICE. I'm going to let it be known I'm in support of ridding 20 million illegals from America. I do not want America to turn into a third world country. I do not want to see other people from other places ruling over us, changing everything involving our culture and just giving it up. That's not what we're here for. And I'm glad that Trump is the one that is changing around. And until people start taking it serious, that he's serious, it looks like more of these things are going to happen, because there was another shooting that happened the next day there in Portland. And I'm going to get to that in just a second, but let me read some more. You said if local law dealt with it. Amen, Stanley says. She got what she asked for. Stupidity knows no bounds. Wow. All right. Much from love, from Sydney, Australia. Oh, thank you for being here, Joanne. I really appreciate seeing you. I don't think I've ever had nobody from Australia here, but let me first let JD Vance talk, and then we'll look at what happened in Portland. First, who's going to talk is Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, and then it's going to be Vice President, and this happened January 8th. I think it's a very good way to start off this live, because he really broke it down, and he also brought out the scamming that's been taking effect also in Minnesota. So he talked about a number of things to catch us up.
Uphold law and order in the United States of America. The deadly incident that took place in Minnesota yesterday occurred as a result of a larger, sinister, left-wing movement that has spread across our country, where our brave men and women of federal law enforcement are under organized attack. Right now, immigration and customs enforcement officers are facing a 1,200% increase in assaults, a 3,200% increase in vehicle rammings, and an 8,000% increase in death threats. ICE agents are faithfully enforcing federal law to protect the safety of the American people by removing criminal illegal aliens from our country, which is exactly what nearly 80 million Americans elected President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance to do. Radicals in the Democrat Party are furious over this. They don't want our border secured or criminal illegal aliens being removed. As a result, Democrats are impeding immigration enforcement operations daily, creating extremely heightened and dangerous circumstances that make it nearly impossible for the men and women of law enforcement to simply do their jobs. Democrats are calling to defund federal law enforcement agencies who are protecting public safety. And Democrats are calling to abolish ICE and defund the police. That will never be allowed to happen under this.
What kind of sense does that make? That just goes to show you how irresponsible the Democrats are. They don't want us having no authorities to keep things in check. They want everything to be chaotic and everything to be dangerous, everything to turn violent, no rules, no standards, no nothing. And they think that we're supposed to want them in office when they're carrying on like this? How dare y'all, Democrats, that believe that we should live in the Wild Wild West? But this is what they wish to have happen, that there's no police, there's no ICE, there's no stopping what they desire to see happen, which is the takeover of America right in front of our faces. And then once everything is to where you can't stop it, then these same bitches would be screaming, "Somebody please stop this," but it will be too late. These people are sick in the head that desire for America to fall.
President and Vice President. The Trump administration will redouble our efforts to get the worst of the worst, criminal illegal alien killers, rapists, and pedophiles off of American streets. The Department of Homeland Security will continue to operate on the ground in Minnesota, not only to remove criminal illegal aliens, but also to continue conducting door-to-door investigations of the rampant fraud that has taken place in the state under the failed and corrupt leadership of Democrat Governor Tim Walz. Taxpayers have been ripped off to the tune of billions of dollars in this one state alone, and that is going to end, and people are going to be held accountable. The Trump administration has activated thousands of federal agents, doubled the number of U.S. attorneys in the DOJ office in Minneapolis, and surged resources to hold fraudsters accountable and demand justice for law-abiding American taxpayers and citizens across our country. And that's what brings the Vice President out here with me today to discuss all the Trump administration is doing and to make an additional important announcement on this front. So please, Mr. Vice President, will be joining us now. Thank you.
Great. Well, good afternoon, everybody. And I want to echo some of what Carolyn said about what we're doing to combat the rampant fraud that exists in our immigration system, thanks to failed politicians and thanks to people who allowed the American taxpayer to be taken advantage of for far too long. I think it's important to understand why this matters to the American people. I am a father of 3 young kids, a lot of kids, a lot of people in my generation. What is that going on there? Is that normal? Okay. CNN installed this broken camera just to throw me off my game, but it's not going to work. So here's the simple fact here. If you're a young parent struggling to afford childcare in the United States of America, there are programs that we have to make it easier for your kids to get in daycare, for your kids to get in preschool. Those programs should go to American citizens, not be defrauded by Somali immigrants and others. Make it hard for you to get the access to the resources you need. But number two, making it easier for people who shouldn't even be in this country to fleece the United States and our taxpayers to begin with. We have actually activated a major interagency task force to make it possible to get to the heart of this fraud. We have Department of Agriculture resources that are focused on SNAP fraud so that people who need food benefits can get them, but illegal aliens and other fraudsters don't. We have over 1,500 subpoenas that the Department of Justice has issued to get to the heart of the fraud ring. We've done almost 100 indictments, mostly Somali immigrants, but also a few others. And of course, we're looking in with broad investigatory authority to a number of the instances of wrongdoing that we've seen in Minneapolis. But we also want to expand this. We know that the fraud isn't just happening in Minneapolis, it's also happening in states like Ohio. It's happening in states like California. And so what we're doing in order to help coordinate this remarkable interagency effort from the Trump administration, but also to make sure that we prosecute the bad guys and do it as swiftly and efficiently as possible, is we are creating a new Assistant Attorney General position who will have nationwide jurisdiction over the issue of fraud. Now, of course, that person's efforts will start and focus primarily in Minnesota, but it is going to be a nationwide effort because, unfortunately, the American people have been defrauded in a very nationwide way. I want to think a couple.
And I believe that the Democrats are all the way behind it. And I believe that this is why they're trying so desperately to turn the topic on the murder, or the unaliving, I should say, of the protester, anything but to get to the root of what has been allowed to happen under their watch with all the scamming, allowing immigrants to come and fleece the government billions upon billions of dollars. The whole entire country, I'm sure, has been touched up by these schemes, these scams. And y'all know that the Democrats, if they were in power, none of this stuff would have been leaked. None of this knowledge would have been questioned. Nothing would have been said about anything. It would have went on as business as usual. And they are really butthurt that they're being exposed as the traitors that they are. That they've been getting away with doing all this reckless and wicked stuff on purpose, just so that they stay in power. So they believed that they were going to win with Kamala. They put so much money into trying to make sure she won, and she still lost. They threw all that money on her, and they still lost. And now Trump is doing the Lord's work in a lot of ways, not all the way, but in a lot of ways, by exposing the Democrats, by exposing how this government has been running around, not being controlled and not being under leadership, proper leadership, not having no accountability, not being respectful of the taxpayers, not being respectful of the Americans, not giving a damn about nothing or nobody but power. And I understand that someone's in the chat room talking about, what about the Epstein list? What about the Epstein list? Should we forget about the scams and the government being fleeced by all these illegals and the Somalis and everybody else under the sun that wants to take advantage? Should we just forget about that and only care about the Epstein list? I really don't, to be honest with y'all. I could care less about the Epstein files. I think that for the most part, more or less, the people that were involved, one person's unalived, the other person's in jail. Maybe some other people will be exposed or whatever, but it's not as important as what is going on in our country right now in front of our faces. And I wish that we would stay focused on the right stuff right now. Eventually that stuff, I guess the list or whatever will come out. It's not a priority of mine. I don't know why everybody's so obsessed about it. I guess you guys want Trump to get caught up in that somehow. But if he does not continue as a president, who would do the things needed and required to be done in America right now? It wouldn't be no damn Democrat. Okay, it would not be none of them. So I don't know about this obsession with the Epstein list. All right. You said my Kirk hurts. Okay. Psyop released the Epstein files. Okay, well, if you want to obsess over that, all right. David is saying ice, ice, ice. Okay. And the only MR, Mr. or 9 says looking for client list, looking for associates victim. David says, I guess, thank you. 100% facts, honey. Thank God for Trump. That's what I'm saying. I know that he does not say the right stuff sometimes. Some of the stuff that he says is a little bit brass. I know that he says stuff without cleaning it up first or making it sound nice and suave. He's just not built for that. Just like I'm not. I'm not a very feminine type of woman. I'm not really attached with being emotional like other people that are women. I don't know. It's just different. You know, I can understand Trump though, and I can see where his mind is at as far as trying to clean up what has been going on for so long in America. And the Democrats do not want them to be exposed. And this is why I think they're throwing everything they got at Trump and at ICE in hopes to disrupt what he's doing. But it ain't gonna work. Trump is gonna do what he gotta do for however long, to get it done. And y'all just need to catch up to the realization that it's been a year that he's been on working on getting out the illegals. How long does it take for them to understand their time is over? The run is done. It's time to go. You're choosing to kick and holler to get up out of here. You ain't got to be kicking and hollering. You could just go with pride and dignity. Go home. Okay, you said Trump, okay. You said, I love how Trump tells us what he's doing every day. That's the difference. I like that. I'm telling you the truth. I don't need him to say it all nice and cozy. I mean, do you guys need to have him play some background music like jazz while he talks, I guess? Maybe y'all need to just go get some jazz music and play it while he's speaking to make you feel better. I don't know. JD baby, okay, isn't that why we all love him? He has no filter. That's why I like him. I like a guy or any person that's going to tell me the truth. Lots of masculines, females nowadays. Oh, well, usually the more ghetto ones. You can just go on with your ghetto self, okay? Let me help you out. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Trump dyes his hairdo blonde and wants to build an effeminate ballroom. Yeah, that was a little bit odd for me, Payne. That part right there I didn't get. I don't understand why there is a need for a ballroom. I think he's trying to get a legacy with his name attached to his presidency. He wants himself to be remembered forever, apparently. So I don't agree with the ballroom, but I agree with everything pertaining to the immigration situation and frauding, getting out the fraud. You know, preach, girlfriend. Thank you. And Cosmics and Robotics says Trump said he'll run for president back on Donahue in 1983. If it got too bad, then it got too bad. Yeah, he was telling the truth. I remember seeing him say that. Trump prancing around in it. You think so? It got that bad. It really did. All right. You think USA is ish? Okay. Yeah, and the earth is flat. Everybody loves bacon. Somebody needs to make her president. Thank you, Rick. Okay, let's get back to this.
Of people for their cooperation, in particular Pam Bondi, our Attorney General. First of all, for getting a lot of resources to Minneapolis to start to investigate and prosecute this fraud, really at an industrial scale. We've never seen fraud like this in the history of our country. Pam has been doing a great job to get the resources there to uncover it, but importantly, creating a job like this often takes months, sometimes even longer. When we realized that we needed this Associate Attorney General position, Pam got this person up and running in about a week. We're going to make the nomination hopefully in the next few days. We'll obviously let you guys know who that is when we do it. I've talked to Senate Majority Leader John Thune, who has promised me swift confirmation for this official, but this is the person who is going to make sure that we stop defrauding the American people. Here's one final thing I'll say about this. I've heard a lot of people say that we need a special counsel to investigate fraud in the United States of America. I actually agree, and that's what this position does. It has all the benefits, all the resources, all the authority of a special counsel, but with two crucial differences. Number one, it will be run out of the White House under the supervision of me and the President of the United States. And number two, it's actually constitutionally legitimate. As you guys may know, the special counsel statute has some major constitutional questions. When we get the bad guys, we want to make sure we get them permanently and they don't have some legal technicality they can get out of, which is why we set it up as an Associate Attorney General. I'll take some questions, but I want to make just one final observation here. When I was actually walking out here, somebody sent me a photo of a CNN headline about what happened in Minneapolis. And this is the headline. I'm just going to read it. Outrage after ICE officer kills U.S. citizen in Minneapolis. Well, that's one way to put it, and that is the way that many people in the corporate media have put this attack over the last 24 hours. And I say attack very, very intentionally, because this was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order. This was an attack on the American people. The way that the media, by and large, has reported this story has been an absolute disgrace, and it puts our law enforcement officers at risk every single day. What that headline leaves out is the fact that that very ICE officer nearly had his life ended, dragged by a car 6 months ago, 33 stitches in his leg. So you think maybe he's a little bit sensitive about somebody ramming him with an automobile? What that headline leaves out is that that woman was there to interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation in the United States of America. What that headline leaves out is that that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job. If the media wants to tell the truth, they ought to tell the truth that a group of left-wing radicals have been working tirelessly, sometimes using domestic terror techniques to try to make it impossible for the President of the United States to do what the American people elected him to do, which is enforce our immigration laws. The President stands with ICE. I stand with ICE. We stand with all of our law enforcement officers. And part of that is recognizing that you people in the media, not everybody in this room, but many people in this room have been lying about this attack. She was trying to ram this guy with her car. He shot back. He defended himself. He's already been seriously wounded in law enforcement operations before, and everybody who's been repeating the lie that this is some innocent woman who was out for a drive in Minneapolis when a law enforcement officer shot at her, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Every single one of you. Questions?
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I wanted to read a quote from Tim Walz earlier today. He said, "When things looked bleak, it was Minnesota's first that held the line for the nation on July 3rd, 1863, and I think we may be in that moment now." Can you comment on his rhetoric and Mayor Jacob Frey and whether they want to see unrest in Minneapolis?
Well, that's very tough rhetoric from a guy who just quit because his fraudulent activities have been uncovered. Look, Tim Walz is a joke. His entire administration has been a joke. The idea that he's some sort of freedom fighter, he's not. He's a guy who has enabled fraud and maybe, in fact, has participated in fraud. That's what this new Assistant Attorney General position is going to find out. I don't care what Tim Walz says. I care about getting to the bottom of this fraud for the American people, and I care about enforcing the nation's immigration laws. That's what we're going to stay focused on.
Vice President, a related question here. I mean, Democrats have accused ICE of murder. They've said they're targeting Americans. They told ICE to get the F out of Minnesota.
this is going to stoke the fire against ICE agents. And you're talking about ICE agents right now, being concerned about them. What, if anything, is the administration going to do to make sure these folks are protected during these protests? But also, should DHS sort of revisit their procedures here? I mean, nobody wants to see an American killed. Are there changes that need to be made to make sure something like this doesn't happen again?
But first of all, of course, nobody wants an American citizen to be killed. This is absolutely a tragedy, but it's a tragedy of the making of the far left. They have radicalized a very small segment of the population, taught them that ICE agents are engaging in wide-scale violation of people's rights. What our ICE officers are doing is deporting the millions of criminal aliens that were let in during the Biden administration. So number one, we have to say, as a matter of leadership, and I would appreciate if the Democrats would join me on this, let's be honest about the fact that we have way too many illegal aliens in this country. Our ICE officers should be supported in doing their job. You're trying to actually marshal the far left lunatic fringe to engage in doxing, to try to make it impossible for them to enforce the law, and in some cases actually to engage in acts of domestic terrorism against our law enforcement officers. When you talk about different plans, different protocols, different policies, I forget exactly how you asked the question. Here's the simple fact. What we're going to do is make it easier for the American People's Administration to enforce the American people's law. And that means that Democrats have to stop rallying the mob against legitimate law enforcement operations. And that means that we are going to get tougher. And that's what this AAG position is about. We're going to get tougher at the people who are defrauding the United States by inciting violence against our law enforcement officers.
Oh, thank you so much. How to spell Mark. I'll check you out. You said came through to support the stream with a like and good energy. I'm live at the moment too, and I recognize the discipline it takes to keep showing up. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. I'm about to look you up right now and check you out another time. Every little bit helps. I really hope that people that are pro-America would support me more. It just seems like a lot of people are real sketchy about supporting the protection over America. I don't understand what has gotten into a lot of our people right now. But yeah, I just subscribed to you. Thank you. How to spell Mark. I'm going to check you out. Hold on. Let me view you real quick. Oh, you're a singer. Okay. Oh, you're an actual singer. Hold on.
Y'all, I'm going to sing to the sun.
Okay, I'm going to check him out another time. Thank you for that, though. I really appreciate you. Also, Critical 509 says 100% of federal funding should be immediately halted to Minnesota. Exactly. Sean Davison says, loving it, blacks rest and white officers go crazy. Well, you know, Sean, they're trying to drag us into the fold with claiming that we are back with Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter, unfortunately, got hijacked a long time ago. It is not the grassroots anymore. It's been taken over by globalists. And a lot of us don't support Black Lives Matter, but they're trying to give the impression that we are all anti-ICE. And if you really talk to us, you'll hear the truth, which is we do not want a lot of illegals here. We do not support what's going on right now. I mean, I support Trump and what he's doing, his efforts to get rid of all these illegals. So don't be confused when you see Black Lives Matter. I'm trying to see if I can find that video. Don't assume because you're hearing Black Lives Matter that means that we're all in it, because that's a lie. It's propaganda. They love to throw our name involved in anything and just say we're all in support, whether we are or not. It's really disrespectful on how they utilize, Black folks, claiming that we're on the same level as, what the country calls for. But let me give you an example before I go back to JD Vance. This is not what I support. Of course, they got a black guy getting all emotional and all this talk. And of course, they're conjuring up George Floyd. They're trying to make it seem like it's George Floyd #2 situation. They're trying to conjure up that to make it more relevant. And I think it's disrespectful, to be honest, because illegals have nothing to do with what Black Americans have got going on in America. And they need to just leave us out of it, but they never do.
He got killed, shot him in the head. And a friend told me the James Baldwin quote, if they take me in the morning, they're going to come for you in the night. You didn't think it had anything to do with you when they were killing black and brown people. You didn't think it had anything to do with you when they were terrorizing Latino and East African students at Minneapolis Roosevelt High School. And then they come out here and kill a white woman, and you see a piece of yourself in it. And you have a fraction of the experience that we as black men have had for a very long time, seeing ourselves in the bodies of Jamar Clark, of Dalal Eid, of George Floyd, of Terrence Franklin, seeing it, all of it.
It is so disrespectful to bring out the dead bodies, the memories of the dead bodies that have passed, and they have not been given no justice for their deaths. But you're just going to call on them to use them like a sacrificial lamb and lend their bodies towards this plight that has nothing to do with them. It has nothing to do with Black Americans. It has nothing to do with Americans. This is about people trying to take advantage of this country that are not from here. They are not entitled to be here. They don't have the rights and freedoms because they're not Americans. But yet they continually use Black folks as crash dummies, which I really hate to see. Performing and acting out, crying and acting all crazed when it's not justified in this moment with what is going on. But just listen to how they like to use Black folks as useful fools. This is so-called Black Lives Matter. The same bullshit, but we are not on board. The smart Black Americans, such as myself, I'm telling y'all, we're not for this bullshit right here. We see this as a manipulation, emotionalism used, bringing us into the mix without our consent.
And now you see yourself in it a little bit, and you have an opportunity. Take a look around you and who is saying nothing. Take a look around you who has supported this. Take a look around you and look at the candidates that you can vote for. And then also take a look around you and look at the uniforms that are doing nothing about it. That are doing absolutely nothing about it. If they take me in the morning, they will come for you in the night. Thank you.
Thank you, Tucson. Next, we will hear from Eliza Darris, the Executive Director of the Minnesota Freedom Fund. Please welcome him.
Like many of the activists and organizers and advocates behind me, we have found ourselves standing in front of podiums like this time and time and time and time again when local, or in this case federal law enforcement, have decided to use lethal force against us without right.
Where is this us at, actually? This is what I'm talking about. He is nothing more than a crash dummy for an organization that just wants to prop Black folks up against our will because we're not outside protesting. His ass is comfortably inside somewhere spewing this rhetoric, but he's not going to be outside in the cold, and none of us, for the most part, will be outside with him if he was. But this is performative. It's not the reality on the ground, and Black Americans are in support of ICE agents doing their job. Do not believe this guy lying, because that's exactly what he's doing.
And here we are again. We watched that man literally position himself in front of Renee's vehicle and shoot round after round after round into her. Now, law enforcement are supposed to justify every last single round. He shot her 3 times in the face. The rest of law enforcement made sure that no one in the crowd could render aid. There was an actual physician that said, hey, I'm a physician. Let me render aid. And they said, stand back and watch her die. And so our expectation is that in tragedies like this, law enforcement would undergo due diligence, determine whether or not a crime has been committed, and bring charges. Yes. And ultimately, for a jury, if this person appears, to bring a conviction. Now that's in the normal situation. Yeah. What we would normally expect to happen. But we're not dealing with normal times. These aren't normal situations. We have a federal government threatening other portions of its government and saying, if you hold anyone accountable, you'll be terminated. Say terminated. Terminated. You'll be fired. Say fired. Fired. You may be arrested. Say arrested. Arrested. And so they do nothing. We can expect nothing to come from the federal government. So what does that leave? It leaves the state. I'm here today to call upon our local officials to stand up. Say stand up. Stand up. And do something. Do something. Stand up. Stand up. And do something. Why did we sit?
So performative, I can't even take no more. That is a crock of shit. He is a willful fool, a useful fool, a crash dummy. He does not know what the hell he's talking about. That woman was in the vehicle driving forward in front of the ICE agent. What is the ICE agent supposed to do? He's supposed to just take the hit or take a chance of getting ran over? Anybody else in that predicament would have did what they had to do, unfortunately, which is unalive that woman to make sure she's rendered harmless. She chose the route in which she took. It is what it is. I mean, he has acted. I can't believe that, people just out here just acting a blum fool. He looked like he's about to have a stroke or something, screaming and carrying on. All of that was just performative. He was acting. He was putting more mustard on it than he really meant to do. But he probably got paid a pretty penny to run around acting like that. But I'm just letting y'all know, for the most part, the ones that are smart are not on the side of what he's on, because we know it's a dangerous job of ICE. And she did not have to do what she chose to do. Ain't nobody told her to accelerate. She could have just turned the car off and opened the door and got out. No, she wanted to push her luck. And she lost her luck with trying to do that. But again, these people are trying to get Black Americans involved. They're trying to get us emotionally charged. I'm so disgusted with people acting like that. But let me show you another video to balance it out, to just let y'all know, in case y'all don't know, a lot of us, millions of Black Americans, are in support of the ICE agents. We are in support. So don't let them fool you, because they will if you let them. But just check this out real quick and you'll hear real quick. Please hit that like button. Please support me. Please subscribe to the channel. Let's go.
Lady that lost their life. I'm not gonna argue with y'all tonight, but I do know one thing. Y'all don't care about y'all kids enough like I care about mine. I'm not putting my life on the line for no stranger. I got somebody depending on me. My family's depending on me to come home every day. I'm not putting my life on the line for no strangers. Yet alone people that's not even from here. If somebody told me ICE is coming to my city, which has already happened, I'm staying out the way. What do I look like going in the streets trying to protect people that's not even from here? Or whatever the situation is. They could be from here. I'm still not protecting a stranger in general. I got people depending on me. Don't forget that. So in this situation, they say ICE is coming to your city in Minneapolis to figure out what's going on with the Somali fraud. Thank you. Why in the world would I need to hit the streets and stop that? I don't know. I just know it don't seem like y'all care about y'all kids enough. I don't need my child to be fatherless. And I definitely don't need him to understand that he lost his father because his father was out there defending Somalis.
There's about to be a lot of pissed off people when I say this, and hear me good. There's no way I could ever be an ICE agent because I'm sparing nobody. And I hate to say that because I am not a person that, condones violence. But this is what I'm not gonna do. I would never kiss my husband, kiss my wife, kiss my kids goodbye, go out and, do my job because I'm trying to be a productive member of society. And I'm met with bricks being thrown at me, people spitting on me, people trying to run me over with their car. And when I defend myself, then it's, look at the brutality. Look at these animals. Ain't no way I'm sparing anybody. Absolutely the hell not. It is, and it's mind-boggling that you have people that legit are saying, kill ICE agents, dox ICE agents, and they're not supposed to do anything back. That's why I'm not in law enforcement, because I promise you I would spare nobody. Absolutely the hell not. No, absolutely not.
Funny how silence works. Not one Democrat flooded the streets when Laken Riley was beaten, raped, tortured, strangled, and had her skull smashed with a rock by an illegal alien. There were no marches, there were no hashtags, no candlelight vigils, no virtue. Not one Democrat demanded deportations when 12-year-old Jocelyn Nongre was raped and then had her throat slit by two illegals. Not a word about borders, not a whisper about accountability, not a single protest demanding justice for a small American child. Not one Democrat staged outrage for Rachel Morin, a mother of five young babies, strangled, sexually assaulted, beaten to death with a rock. Apparently, motherhood only matters when it's politically convenient. I said beaten to death with a rock. Not a gun, not a knife, not forks, but a rock. Whatever was readily available to murder an American. Not one Democrat tweeted a single syllable about Dakara Thompson after an illegal sexually assaulted her and then choked her off the bridge like she was just trash.
He is spitting facts right now. I covered all these stories.
And I just wanted y'all to get an understanding that just because you see a few fools on a podium, seemingly like they are speaking for so-called all Black folks, they're not. They are a part of a propaganda machine. They have been bought and sold. They are out of touch with reality. They do not represent the real Black Americans of America who are steering clear out of the way, allowing ICE to do their job and hoping that they stay safe doing it. That's where we are. All this other nonsense talk about getting emotional and screaming and trying to conjure up George Floyd, trying to make it seem like this is similar to that. It is not similar to that. This shooting was justified. It's an awful way for her to pass, I'll give you that. But she chose the route she took. And I hope that people listening, moving forward, would never decide to get in a car or a vehicle and plunge forward when a ICE officer tells you to get up out of the car. You said, I watched the riots last night. Cosmics and Robotics says it looks like a high school party. Scragglers at 1 o'clock a.m., skateboarders and goth. They even had DJs at their riots. Wow, fun to watch though. Man, that's crazy. How are you doing, Leonard? Thank you for being here. What's up, Nelson? Thank you for being here. And how you doing, Comics and Robotics? You said no more blah, blah, blah. Walsh and the mayor of Minneapolis wants you to sacrifice your life. They aren't going to do the same. Exactly. They can keep on wishing and wondering where I'll be. I ain't going to be nowhere near any of that bullshit because I am not stupid. I'm not nobody's fool or a crash dummy. I will not be used and abused and spat out like overly chewed gum. That's what you will be, Black American, if you take your black ass out there to help out people that don't even give a damn about you. These immigrants are trying to replace you. They don't give a flying F about you. So for you to have all this empathy and sympathy for them when they're hoping to replace you and make you desolate, make you not a factor in your own country, you're a special kind of fool if you believe that these people got your back. And it's sad that a lot of you guys are just so blindfolded to the truth. I even had words with my sister just not even a month ago. She's so upset about Trump. We had some words. I ain't spoke to her since. Oh, well. Oh, effing well. Bud Russell says new video shows that the ICE officer was hit and scooped up on the hood of the car. I know, Bud Russell, and the Democrats are not going to correct it. They're going to make it seem the way that they've been saying it. You said, what a mess in America. It definitely is right now. How are you doing, Frank? Thank you for being here. Zach says Minnesota will see 5 times ICE now. I know. They need to see the National Guard, too. Every time I speak up in Democratic chats, they tell me they are screenshotting me. Oh, well, dang, they say that? Wow, Comics and Robotics. That's crazy. George Floyd now 6 years sober. I know that's right. Boat Sailor says ROT, whatever that is. Vincent says, oh my gosh, it's George Floyd again. Let them tell it. Good for you. You're starting to understand the Democratic Party. Oh, yeah, I understand that they've been manipulating a lot of our people. And I'm trying to wake up Black Americans in particular. I can understand why the immigrants that are in support of the Democrats, because they know that they're on their side. I understand why they're doing it, but it don't make sense for Black Americans, the real Americans of America, to be in support of people that's trying to root for your demise. Come on. Is anyone else building a robot right now so that they can upload AI to it later on in the future? I don't know. NPCs and agitators make a deadly mix. Yeah, it does, Leonard. We just don't participate in nonsense. That's why we have brains. Exactly. But they have been waiting for us to make an appearance in this protesting mayhem, and we have been nowhere to be seen or found. This is why they got these black folks together to make it seem like we're here, and we're not. We're not going, y'all. Don't believe them. How you doing, Yoli and Old Gring? How are you? What does immigration have to do with Black Americans? Well, immigration, mass immigration, illegal immigration, it is working counter against our survival here. We are put in the position of competing with people that are not from here. And a lot of times the Democrats give the illegals and immigrants benefits over Black Americans. They bless them with housing. They give them money. They give them opportunities. They give them licenses to drive. They did all kinds of things that they would never do for Black Americans. So they've been trying to prop up immigrants over us. And the reason for that is that they were hopeful that they would be the ones voting, and then they would make our vote null and voided. They would pretty much take away our rights in having a vote, because they would take away by allowing them to vote. So we were being replaced by the immigrants, by the Democrats in mass number. 10 to 20 million immigrants allowed to flood in the last 4 years. It's not meant to be a blessing to Black Americans. It's meant to replace us. That's why it is not a good thing for us to be in support of mass immigration, because ultimately we will be the ones feeling the wrath of all them being here. You said they all look like tethers and undercover cops. Yes, paid protesters indeed. So I love to see ICE, and it was justified, definitely. When I dressed up for Trump Halloween 2016 and 17, most people thought I was a psychopath. I wish I could have seen that. That's funny. Morons, okay. Did anyone see the new MPC meme animation where a man opens his head, puts in a chip, changes it for different things like 2020 Palestine, Floyd, but it shows protesters responding like zombies to each? I wouldn't be surprised. Who will lead the revolution? I'm just gonna let everybody do what they're gonna do. Hopefully Trump is going to get a lot. He's not gonna slow down. It's gonna get a lot worse for these protesters, as it should be. And hopefully the ones that have a half a brain is gonna just tap out. Why do these people sound like preachers? I don't know. That's just something that we've always been a part of. It's annoying for him to put on such a fake ass performance, though. I'll tell you that. You said, give me more drugs. That's what he meant, Lord. The whole thing was probably a psyop, and this is continuing the ritual. But hey, believe the people who you keep catching the lies. Okay, Trump. I called them willful, ignorant ostriches. Okay. Terminator 2's my favorite movie, and John Connor's my hero. He's got to be me to lead the revolution. Oh, you want to lead it? She put herself in harm's way, and yes, she did, Paul. And people don't want to just admit that truth. They don't want to admit that truth. Lead text to speech ruined my punchline. Okay. They leaked the body cam. Her wife got her smoked. Yeah. I know that she's having a bad time right now. David says, paid protesters from Colorado. Is that right? Agitating ICE. Yes. Raymond, after, okay, I don't know what that means. You said, and did anyone see the earlier footage where her wife was screaming at the ICE officer and Renee was in her car? Wife gets in, tells her to drive, and she does, and knows the officer to the ground. I don't know. It's on TD Media channel. Okay, let me see if I can find that real quick. What am I looking up again? Let me know. Remind me. Hold on. All right, let me look that up real quick. TD Media. I don't know if this is the right one or not. It looks to be Asian. Hold on, I don't think this is right. Must be another one. Hold on. TD Media. Don't know. This is an Asian, so I don't think this is the right one. Anyways, you said I just heard a compound word. Thank you, Leonard. We know that you support ICE. Yes, I do. He is using reverb like what the F, a straight agitator from Colorado to Minnesota. This land was made for you and me. Exactly. So we could argue she was probably being surrounded because they were after her for that. User says, which throws my whole argument out the window. She wasn't doing nothing but driving away. At first, I kind of was on her side, but not now. Rendered null. She been asked to stop by a cop. She was under arrest. Okay. Unfortunately, they hire cops that don't say that out loud, I guess you meant, Kathy. Though my main stance is I can't stand these sheeple, I guess, shouldn't be out there anyways. Real truth. Okay, let me play that video again. It's a real small video. I'll play it one more time for those that may have missed it so that you can see the actual footage of the ICE agent who recorded it. He recorded it himself. So you can get it from his vantage point of what happened. So you guys can see it again.
What's happening there? Garrett, good afternoon.
Yeah, Trace, good afternoon. This new video will be a crucial piece of evidence in this investigation because it was recorded by the agent himself, and it shows the events leading up to the shooting from his point of view. Here is that entire video.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad at you. Show your face. I'm not mad at you. It's okay. We don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I said go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Out of the car. Get out of the car.
Out of the car.
Vice President J.D. Vance reacted to this new video on X saying, many of you have been told this law enforcement officer wasn't hit by a car, wasn't being harassed, and murdered an innocent woman. The reality is that his life was endangered and he fired in self-defense. No response to the new video from city officials, but earlier today, Mayor Jacob Fry doubled down on his belief that this was a reckless abuse of power and that any argument that this agent feared for his life are BS.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and
again,
most compelling analysis.
that is obvious that she was in the wrong and he was hit and under threat for his life, and he responded accordingly to stop the threat. And unfortunately, she chose wrong to accelerate. And now she's paying the ultimate price for her decision. You know, I know a lot of people just don't want to face that reality. They want her to be the victim. But she was there to turn up. She was there to agitate, to provoke. I mean, what does she think she's going to get with having that go on? Anyways, let's get back to J.D. Vance. Let's get back to him.
The American people's law. And that means that Democrats have to stop rallying the mob against legitimate law enforcement operations. And that means that we are going to get tougher. And that's what this AAG position is about. We're going to get tougher at the people who are defrauding the United States by inciting violence against our law enforcement officers. That's one of the things that we're going to do. We've already started that work at the Department of Justice, but we're going to keep on doing it, and this new AAG position is going to kick that into high gear.
Vice President Vance, you just suggested that this woman who was killed, Renee Good, is part of a broader left-wing network. Who do you think is behind this broader left-wing network?
Well, it's one of the things we're going to have to figure out, but here's the way that I put it. When somebody throws a brick at an ICE agent, or somebody tries to run over an ICE agent, who paid for the brick? And who told protesters to show up and engage in violent activity against our law enforcement officers? You see, just with this most recent terrible incident in Minneapolis, you see friends of this woman's or other people who are eyewitnesses saying basically that she was there to engage in obstruction of a legitimate law enforcement operation. How did she get there? How did she learn about this? There's an entire network, and frankly, some of the media are participating in it, that is trying to incite violence against our law enforcement officers. It's ridiculous, it's preposterous, and part of our investigatory work is getting to the bottom of it. Who's funding it, who's supporting it, who's cheerleading it, and of course, if there's illegal activity related to that, we're going to get to the bottom of that and prosecute it where we can.
Okay, so you sent me another link. Hold on, let me try to see if this will work. Thank you, Leonard, for the video. I hope I can show it though. Let me see. Hold on. You know what? It doesn't allow me to hit it. It just shows, it just says leaked body cam footage, TD Media Group. And it won't allow me to hit the link though, for some reason. Man, it's not allowing me to hit the link though. I'm sorry about that. I tried. But thank you for trying to give me a link, but it didn't work out. Hold on. Let's get back to this.
Is there a risk with you describing her as a deranged leftist, talking about very specific facts of these events, when an investigation is just beginning? Are you preempting a thorough investigation by drawing such conclusions? And have you received any information beyond the videos we've seen publicly about this individual, her specific acts, that has informed your point of view?
Well, first of all, the Department of Justice is going to investigate this. The Department of Homeland Security is already investigating this. But the simple fact is, what you see is what you get in this case. You have a woman who is trying to obstruct a legitimate law enforcement operation. Nobody debates that. You have a woman who aimed her car at a law enforcement officer and pressed on the accelerator. Nobody debates that. I can believe that her death is a tragedy, while also recognizing that it's a tragedy of her own making and a tragedy of the far left, who has marshaled an entire movement, a lunatic fringe, against our law enforcement officers. I think what is clearly happening here, and it's going to keep on happening unless the Democrats wake up and say, you know what, you don't have to agree with our immigration policies. You don't have to agree with what the president or the vice president believe about immigration enforcement, but why don't you take this to the ballot box? Why don't you vote? Why don't you organize? Instead, what some of them are doing is encouraging people to get violent with our law enforcement officials. It's disgraceful, and it's got to stop.
Just to follow up on that question, and again, thank you for taking questions, Mr. Vice President. There's clearly a lot of emotion in Minnesota, across the country, over this incident. You're calling Renee Good a deranged leftist. There's been heated rhetoric that we've also heard from officials. What responsibility do you and the president have to diffuse some of the tension that we are seeing play out in Minnesota, bring down the temperature as this investigation is unfolding?
What we have a responsibility to do is to protect the people who are enforcing the law and protect the country writ large. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, you deserve to have the people's laws enforced in the United States of America. Now, again, I'm not happy that this woman lost her life. I'm not happy that this woman was there at a protest violating the law by interfering with a law enforcement action. I think that we can all recognize that the best way to turn down the temperature is to tell people to take their concerns about immigration policy to the ballot box. Stop assaulting and stop inciting violence against our law enforcement officers. That's the best way to take down the temperature. And we're not, look, We're not going to give in to terrorism on this. And that's exactly what's happening. People trying to antagonize, to commit acts of violence. They throw bricks at them. Sometimes they shoot at them. Sometimes they dox them. Sometimes they go to their place of residence and harass their families. This is classic terrorism. And we cannot say that when a far left fringe is inciting violence against our brave law enforcement officials, that we're no longer going to enforce the law. That's rewarding the very people who are engaged in this garbage. The actual reward that they just got is a new assistant attorney general who is going to prosecute and investigate this stuff even more aggressively than before.
Thanks for taking my question. So the head of Minnesota's investigations agency says that the U.S. Attorney's Office has essentially cut off the state investigations agency's access to the investigation. What is the precedent for that, and why shouldn't the Minnesota officials on the ground have access and evidence to work on this investigation?
First of all, I wish the state officials in Minnesota would investigate why you have so many people who are using their vehicles and other means to actually interfere with a legitimate law enforcement operation. The precedent here is very simple. You have a federal law enforcement official engaging in federal law enforcement action. That's a federal issue. That guy is protected by absolute immunity. He was doing his job. The idea that Tim Walz and a bunch of radicals in Minneapolis are going to go after and make this guy's life miserable because he was doing the job that he was asked to do is preposterous. The unprecedented thing is the idea that a local official can actually prosecute a federal official with absolute immunity. I've never seen anything like that. It would get tossed out by a judge. So what I'd like Minnesota to focus on is the real issue that they're encouraging people. Minneapolis officials are encouraging people to commit violence against ICE officials. It's ridiculous. It's got to stop. Go ahead.
Mr. President, thank you. You said earlier that there's a left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and make it impossible for ICE officers to do their job. You told my colleague just now that there's an investigation going on into that network.
Yep.
So if everything that you say is true, how does being part of that network justify being shot?
Well, being part of the network doesn't justify being shot, but ramming an ICE officer with your car, that's what justifies being shot. It's not a good thing, by the way, but when you force somebody to engage in self-defense, it's almost a preposterous question. I'm not saying that funding some of this stuff justifies capital punishment. Nobody would suggest that. The reason this woman is dead is because she tried to ram somebody with her car, and that guy acted in self-defense. That is why she lost her life, and that is the tragedy. Now,
that is why she lost her life. And we have, I'm guessing you have to be a troll, Ernest Stewart. You have to be a troll. You said a woman's life was taken for no reason. So her being in a 2-ton vehicle, pushing the gas, accelerating while the ICE agent is right there, you think that she did nothing wrong. Come on. Come on, y'all. If that was you, if you were in front of a vehicle and someone pressed the gas, and the only thing you have to stop that is your weapon, which is a gun, you're going to use it because you don't want to get ran over. I hope you're trolling. We got to have law enforcement, Ernest Stewart. Why was he in front of the vehicle? Because he's out on the field trying to arrest or detain illegals. He was out there doing his job. Why was she out in the way of his job? Ernest, is a better question. Why does she feel like she needed to be in the middle of him doing what his job called for him to do? Who is she? Is she deputized to do what she called herself doing? She made up a role in the situation where it need not be. She didn't need to be there. There was no reason for her to be there. So I'm sorry you feel this way, but you need to catch up and look at the video again. I hope you're not a Democrat, because it's pretty silly to be one, because they're trying to take away America from us. They're trying to make America a third world country. And that's not good. Let me go back up. You said, this is it, old man. I didn't realize it was the same. She definitely hit him. Yes, she did. Catch, base, be happy. Oh, that's a different name. You said, am I the only one who thinks it is shameful that this woman put herself at such risk, knowing that her child had already lost their father? No matter her politics, she had a primary responsibility. Yes, no, Storm. Yeah, that's sad that the child lost his father back in 2023, I heard. And she should have thought clearer about the threat of her losing her life in the mayhem of dealing with the ICE agents, knowing that they have guns, knowing that they're not there to play. They're not playing games with nobody, y'all. Rod Brillhart says the liberal media refuses to show this clip. Exactly. She was chasing ICE. Now she's on ICE. Yeah, that's sad. No, he put himself in danger. You cannot put yourself in danger, then respond with violence. He was trying to detain her for obstructing his job. She got her wife's cap pilt. Man, I know, it's sad. Lies. You think so? What is the lie? Renee would be alive if the local law enforcement wasn't told to neglect the upholding of the law and hopes this stuff happens. All right, for show. Leonard says, wish Democrats leaders are calling for violence. They're saying get in the way of what's going on with the enforcement of detaining illegals. Because they're not trying to have them go peacefully. They're not trying to encourage the illegals to comply. Yeah, Tim Walsh. Pamela says, you are just trying to spin it. Aren't you? American sees that and laughs at you. I don't know what you mean by that. Tim specifically asked people to be peaceful in a press conference. Oh, you're talking about Fry? Oh yeah, I'm gonna play something from Fry because he was bent out of shape. He wants peaceful protests, yet he won't have local police enforce the law if ICE is near. Slow Motion says MAGA. A Real American says ICE, ICE, ICE. Exactly. Why turn a blind eye if it's not to let people protest violently? I know that's sad. Tim Walsh was saying this is war. You said Vance is such a liar. What did he lie about? What about Biden? Were you on that level of Biden when he was allowing the border to be flooded by all those illegals, Ernest? Were you upset then? Did you say anything then? I bet you didn't say too much. Pull a federal funding from Minnesota. Okay, learn to spell. That woman was an idiot for provoking an ICE agent. Exactly. Trump told people to go protest peacefully and patriotically, but y'all never wanted to hear that. Yeah, you got to stay on the sidewalk. You got to stay out the way. You cannot be in the middle of anything. You cannot throw your body in the midst of everything. It's ridiculous for them to do that. Snowstorm, I agree with her. Primary responsibility was to her child, not to drive 300 miles to be an agitator. Yeah, I did hear that, Kathy, that she drove like 300 miles away just to be there. That's sad. Law enforcement is supposed to de-escalate. Yeah, but when you have loony birds, you have willful crash dummies, then you got that particular situation popping off. As Minnesotan pull funding, even though it will hurt me, Christopher says. How you doing, Samuel? Thank you for being here. This ICE agent was, you said, provoking, I guess you meant. Why was he in front of the vehicle? Because he was trying to detain her. He did not follow protocol, Patricia says. Ernest also said that this cop was provoking, which he was not. She was obstructing his duty. White women, Patricia says. Why should ICE uphold the law that the local police neglected? He never should have been there. Why was there no police? I don't know. That's a good question. She was an American citizen. I know that. And that even makes it sadder because it's not her business. It's not her business to get in the way of protecting illegals. Patricia says that is her street she lives on. You think, I heard she came from 300 miles away in her neighborhood. You said she lives there? Oh, I got to look that up. It doesn't matter if you're a citizen in your own neighborhood. You don't have a right to provoke federal agents. After dropping her children off to school, oh, you're saying that's her neighborhood. You need to catch up. I have to look it up. She lost her life because local law enforcement neglected their job. I've seen all the videos. You said, okay, lady, you need to wake up. Wake up from what? She lost her life because she has a mentality of a child. All right. Butch says she lost her life for being stupid. Really hit him, yet he can run off. Kathy says helix unknown. If you haven't heard, Minnesota and Minneapolis in particular have told their cops to not be involved, in other words, to not do their jobs. Would she do the same thing if local law told her to get out? I don't know. The officer has a right to protect himself as he is doing his job. Exactly. Chasing ICE, that's insane. Exactly. Patricia, what does white woman mean? I don't know. Stole Bernie's nomination. User says, Ted Garcia says, Jonathan Ross is a ICE murderer's name. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. The ICE was provoking her and she just wanted to leave the area. Well, you can't leave the area with the ICE right in front, the ICE agent right in front of your vehicle. You can't leave like that. Her and her friend was provoking ICE. It's all in the video. Exactly. Simply delicious. Chunk Chip says you also can't run over people or ICE officers. Exactly. She was following him. That's what I heard, that she'd been there for a little while pestering them. Civil rights. Okay. She was in the neighborhood. She just dropped off her kids. All right. Civil rights isn't you can ignore law enforcement. Tim the Tard is despicable. Her friend said, come at me, bro, right before the shooting. Wow. He was on the passenger side. She wasn't from that area. She's from a different state. Okay. He was circling her car, taking video. Rose Red says she was a professional instigator and paid to be there. All this crap about her dropping her kids off is a bunch of bull. Okay. Y'all getting her license plate. Nipple Wister says he was so scared, yet look out his camera. I mean, you could be daring and still be scared because you don't want to be ran over by a vehicle. She didn't live in Minnesota. Christopher says it's not her neighborhood. She didn't live in Minnesota. It's called a body cam. Ernest Moron. That was a different agent that recorded the license plate. Ernest is throwing every lie at the wall to see what will stick. Unfortunately, she caused her own death by not following orders and fled towards the officer. That's what I say, Robbie. She said, I'm not mad at you. Ice Ice Baby, keep up the great work. BS should not, she did not imply. She didn't comply. She was provoking. Listen to law enforcement dummies. You got to see why so many stories I smell BS. You are the liars. Oh, Lord. And she was responsible for her own outcome. That's what I say. She is responsible for her outcome. It's sad, you know. It is sad, but she chose what she chose.
Life, and that is the tragedy. Now, there may be other violations of the law and other penalties that are associated with those violations of the law. For example, if you are funding violence against our law enforcement officers, I'm not a prosecutor. My guess is that's not the sort of thing that earns capital punishment, but it should sure as hell earn you a few years in prison if you're funding the effort to try to assault our law enforcement officers. What is, I'm sorry, guys, what's going on here? You guys are meant to report the truth. How have you let yourself become agents of propaganda of a radical fringe that's making it harder for us to enforce our laws? You just asked me a question that presumed that the reason why this woman died is because she was engaged in legitimate protest. She tried to run somebody over with her car, and the guy defended himself when that happened. Next question.
The investigation is still ongoing.
I said next question.
Mr. Vice President, I mean, you presumably watched the video yourself. There's not the slightest doubt in your mind, having viewed it, that the victim, you still believe that she deliberately tried to ram him despite seeing this video?
Look, I don't know what is in a person's heart or in a person's head, and obviously we're not going to get the chance to ask this woman what was going on. What I am certain of is that she violated the law. What I am certain of is that that officer had every reason to think that he was under very serious threat for injury or in fact, his life. What I'm certain of is that she accelerated in a way where she ran into the guy. I don't know what was in her heart and what was in her head, but I know that she violated the law, and I know that officer was acting in self-defense. It raises an interesting point, though. Look, if people want to say that we should have a legitimate debate about, you know, what was she really doing, right? Was she panicking when she drove into this officer, or was she actually trying to ram him? That's a reasonable conversation. What's not reasonable is for so many of you to plaster all over the media that this was an innocent woman and that the ICE agent committed murder, which is what many of you have said explicitly and some of you have said implicitly. That's what I have an objection to. The idea that this was not justified is absurd, and I think everybody knows it in their heart. Yeah.
In the green jacket. Taking down the temperature, it seems like political violence is ratcheting up and riots could be around the corner. What steps does the administration have planned to try to unite America? Average people on both political sides are so tired of fighting with each other, and I think all the journalists in this room could agree with me that we don't want to be part of the problem. Do you have any words to unite America?
You know, I know you don't want to be a part of the problem, and I think that's true of a lot of you. I'm not sure it's true for everybody, because the reporting over this has been one of the biggest scandals I've ever seen in media. I've never seen a case so misrepresented and misreported when you have a guy who is defending himself and is now being treated as some sort of federal assassin by so many of the people in this room. First of all, let me say about crime. You mentioned violence. One of the things we're proudest about is that you saw violent crime over the last year drop by 20%. Why is that drop by 20%? Is it because we're attacking our law enforcement officers, or is it because we in the administration are empowering our law enforcement officers to enforce the law? I think that's one of the ways you take down the temperature, is you make people feel more secure and safe in their person and property. That's why we care so much about protecting our law enforcement, because it accrues to the benefit of the entire national community. I think that we can absolutely talk about the ways in which, you know, we can lower the temperature by discussing differences in a reasonable and rational way. Again, I'm happy to talk with any congressional Democrat or any of you about our immigration policy, about why I think it's necessary, about why I think it's in the best interest of the country, about why the President of the United States was elected to actually enforce the border for the first time in at least 4 years. So here's the problem. That's not the debate so many people are having. They are actively covering for people who are committing acts of violence against federal law enforcement. It is preposterous. The way to take down the temperature is to stop it. Have your debates about policy. Attack me. Attack the President of the United States. Don't attack our law enforcement officers. They are trying to do the job the American people demanded that they do. They are not policy actors. They are enforcing the law. They should be treated with a modicum of dignity and respect. And the fact that they're not is why incidents like yesterday happened. The one final point I'll make about this is, look, there's a part of me that feels very, very sad for this woman, not just because she lost her life, but because I think she is a victim of left-wing ideology. What young mother shows up and decides they're going to throw their car in front of ICE officers who are enforcing legitimate law. You've got to be a little brainwashed to get to that point to where you're willing not just to protest, that's fine, not peacefully protest, but throw your vehicle in front of legitimate law enforcement officers and drive your car into them. To get to that point, you have to be, I think, radicalized in a very, very sad way. I certainly wish that she hadn't got there. I know there's an ICE officer right now who very much wishes he was not put in the position where he had to fire a gun to defend his own life.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. What's your message, following up on that, what's your message to the leaders in Minnesota, the governor of Minnesota, the mayor of Minneapolis, to calm down the situation on the ground, on the streets? What's your message also to those protesters who saw that video in a completely different way than you saw that video?
Well, first of all, I think if you watch every angle of that video, there is one angle where if you squint, you can maybe tell yourself that it's not clear what happened. But when you look at all angles of that video, it is very clear that her vehicle went right for the guy. She actually collided with him. And then that's, of course, when he fired his shots. That's obvious, okay? So what I'd say to the protesters is, by all means, protest peacefully, but make this about ideas. Make this about disagreement with our policy. Don't use your protest as a justification or an encouragement for people to go and incite violence and participate in violence against our law enforcement officials. To the people on the ground in Minneapolis, meaning the local officials in Minneapolis from Tim Walsall and down, I'd say, look, why can't you just disagree with a given piece of immigration policy without turning law enforcement into the enemy? And think about, for example, a criminal law, where a police officer goes and arrests somebody because they violated a criminal law. If you're mad about that, go and protest the politician who passed that law. Don't attack the police officer who's just doing their job. We had a wide open border under Joe Biden. I happen to think it's a good thing the President of the United States has closed it down. If you think that's a bad idea, criticize this administration for a policy decision. Don't attack our people for enforcing the law, because I guarantee you go to ICE, there are black people and white people, there are Democrats and Republicans. They are patriotic Americans who are trying to enforce the law. Attack me, lay off of our ICE agents.
Yeah. We'll get back to that in a little bit. I want to show a little bit of how it looks at the protest, because it's looking really, really crazy out here. I don't know what inspired people to think that it's okay to be there. Like, you could not pay me nothing to be there. Hold on, let me find one of these videos. Let me see. There's so many of them. Hold on. By the way, if you could, please hit that like button. I would greatly appreciate that. Hold on. All right, here we go. This is just a little something to remind y'all on how crazy it's looking out here. It is very chaotic and dangerous. Very chaotic and dangerous.
With other participants. So the standing up of these groups is actually not that challenging. And what is challenging is the training and the organizing that goes on behind it. The large national groups that know how to put on a major protest, that know how to lead people down this path of radicalization. When the vice president described this woman in Minneapolis as a victim of that ecosystem, I think he's right also. There are people who are being led into very dangerous situations, confronting federal law enforcement, not realizing the threat that poses. And there are organizations, revolutionary organizations, that seek to take advantage when those people are harmed or killed. And that's what we're seeing today.
Let me find just a raw video of the protest. I had a couple of them. I just don't remember which one it is, but there's a lot of them. Is this it? Here we go. No, it's not that. Okay, I'll show this one. Okay. You have the patriots who are there at the protest countering the anti-ICE. So you have a little bit of people that want to stand up for the ICE agents versus the anti-ICE. They kind of collided in this video right here.
Leo, he's a, just back up, back up.
We're gonna deport all you sons of bitches. The Patriots are here. The Patriots are here. The Patriots are here. All right, everybody. Casualties of war. It is what it is.
Hey, man, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
This is conquered land, everybody. The American people are not going to put up with this. This is the year the white man stands up. All right? This is the year the white man stands up. All right? Everybody, this is America. We will not stand down. We will not surrender. These men will not hurt us. This is America. This is conquered land. Okay? This is conquered land.
Let's go.
Time to go.
Let go.
My flag. Hey, you took my flag.
Let go.
Come on, man. Let go of the flag.
Let go of the flag.
Let's keep walking.
Let's keep going.
Let's keep going.
Man.
Let's keep going.
Don't you forget it, all right?
Let's keep going.
These are American
Let's keep going.
I had to come in and take some of the heat off of these goddamn patriots. Okay?
Who in their right mind would want to be a part of this scene? This loony bird right here, looking like she is mentally unraveled, is in the way, doing the most, screaming out loud. Everybody's doing too much. All for illegals to be here? What is wrong with y'all? What is going on with y'all?
Let's go, man.
All right, this is the year of the white people. We're taking our country back.
Let's go.
We're taking our country back.
Let's go.
It's peaceful. We're taking our country back, and there ain't nothing you common sons of bitches can do about
White
it.
supremacy in Minnesota.
We're gonna
There's no space for white supremacy in Minnesota.
We're gonna deport all of you motherfuckers.
White supremacy here.
We're gonna deport all of you motherfuckers.
This is not white supremacy to enforce law. It is not white supremacy to make sure illegals are not having their way and taking over. It is not white supremacy to care about your country. It is not white supremacy to be in support of ICE. These people are trying to entangle other situations that have happened before and try to make everything apply to this situation, and it doesn't make sense. Illegals are not American. They are not entitled to civil rights. They are not citizens. We cannot treat them as they are us. It's ridiculous. What is wrong with y'all? But this loony bird and others are in support of the demise of America. And look at how they looking, yo. They looking touched.
Let's do white supremacy here.
We're gonna deport all of you sons of bitches. You understand that?
Get out of here.
Let's go, man.
We don't want you here. Get the fuck out.
Let's go.
Fuck you.
Let's go.
Nazi piece of shit.
Let's go.
Fuck you.
We ain't going nowhere, motherfuckers. This is America. This is the year the white boy stands back. We're taking our country back. All right? We will not back down. We will not surrender.
It's okay.
All right?
It's okay.
If you guys are watching this,
It's okay.
Time to go.
It's time to go.
Time to go.
There's no space space for hate in Minnesota.
Get out here. Citizens,
There's no space for hate.
What if that, wait a second,
If
what
my
if that,
sister was trying to kill people,
wait a second, what if that were your sister in the car? What if that were your sister in the car? Let's back up, we don't want to do this. Let's go, let's go.
Let's go now.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
That way. Not going
We're not going that way, brother.
Give her the flag back. It's my flag.
Give me my flag back.
It's my flag, all right?
Give me my flag back now.
This is our country. Trump is your president. No. Vance is your king. There's not shit you fucking liberal sons of bitches are gonna do about it. Oh, jeez, really? You're a friendly guy.
The only beautiful sight about all of this is I don't see any black person up in there. Thank you, Lord, for us not wanting to be used for stuff that have nothing to do with us. Praise the Lord. We're allowing loony white folks act a fool on their freaking own. You could be a fool by yourself. We're not joining in the festivities of your foolishness. Praise the Lord.
Let's go. Hey, we need to get through here.
Let's just go. You said your piece.
He's stuck in the fence now.
All right. Just listen. Let's just give me my flag. And I'll walk back. Like all my fucking.
Fast forward a little bit.
We're gonna go and safe.
You're dragging the flag on the ground.
Yeah, like. Let's fix this real quick. Let's move along. Let's fix this real quick, actually. Let's move along.
Let's go. Time to go. Go fix it in your car. Let's go fix it in the car.
Move along, man.
Let's go fix it in the car.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go fix it in the car.
I mean, that woman, oh my God, I could not handle that. Oh, he had a lot of patience because I would have wanted to slap the living hell out of her ass. I'm sorry. Oh, no, 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 no. Let me find a better video. But that's just a little bit of what they're showcasing. But the ICE is not playing. Like, they are spraying people down with pepper spray, knocking people over, dragging people. They're accelerating their control out of the mayhem that they're bringing. And all I can say is stay the hell out the way. Why are you putting your body in the middle of all this? You asking for issues.
In history, it can be summed up in 2 words: pepper spray. And if pepper spray isn't enough to satisfy your appetite, ICE also brought tear gas. And if that's still not enough, don't worry. We still have your daily dose of Juanitos getting arrested and Karens trying and failing to rescue them. The episode starts now. This is why you never grab an officer's weapon. He's very lucky it was just a pepper ball.
There goes a black nut. Hopefully he's Somalian, though. I pray.
Officer's weapon. He's very lucky it was just a pepper ball.
I don't know about how he looks right there, if he's Somalian or not, but he has no business being there if he is an American. If he's an immigrant, maybe I can understand, but he's the first black person. I don't know what he is, though, because if he's Somalian, I guess that's why he should be there, but I don't feel sorry for him. Oh, well, F him.
They didn't bother to learn English, so I won't bother to feel sympathy. This is another example of FAFO.
Oh, what the? No! What the?
let's rewind the tape. This terrorist just threw a rock or some other object at the agents.
They're going after someone. Sorry, guys. I'm not trying to get into it. I'm not trying to get into it. I'm trying to take the sidewalk. Okay. Oh, right in the face. Right in the face. Right in their face. Right in their face.
Tensions continue to rise. 2025 was nothing compared to what we are witnessing in 2026, and it's only January 8th.
I'm worried about people coming to where the ICE is with actual guns. I'm worried about people coming and spraying down ICE agents. They don't know who got what on them when they are out there. Look at all this confusion and chaos. Nobody knows nothing in the middle of all this. That's why I believe the National Guard should be allowed to assist. This is not fair to them to have so many variables that are not controlled, and that their life is in danger every waking moment that they're out there. And one of these times, there's somebody going to come with a gun or other weapons. I feel for the ICE because this is ridiculous.
They're getting ready to shoot again. They're getting hit. Yep. They just popped someone right in the face, point blank. Point blank. Sick motherfuckers.
There's a pandemic in this country, and it's called the woke mind virus.
There you go. Run someone over?
This estrogen-filled soy boy needs to be locked up immediately.
I mean, look at these people. Are they paid that much money to act this stupid? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, y'all.
The left is refusing to allow federal agents to do their job. President Trump will be forced to call in many more reinforcements to deal with these criminal thugs.
So now dude just stands in front of the vehicle. Come on. This is really, really wild.
Whether you call yourself an independent contractor, a gig worker, or a freelancer, TaxAct calls you a friend. A friend who just wants to hang out once a year to do taxes. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
outnumbered, it's loud, it's unpredictable. These people are acting like they need to take some medicine or be tranquilized and sit somewhere in a corner. Man, this is wild.
There's plenty of patriots who would do this job for free.
I won't torture you guys any longer, but I just wanted you guys to really understand what the ICE agents have to look forward to with not being supported by the public. When their job is really, really unpredictable and uncertain and very, very dangerous. And these other groups, organizations that are promoting the obstruction of ICE are globalists, the Democrats, everybody else that wants to stand in the way of us getting our shit together. They are enemies of America, literally enemies of America. But let me go to another part of what I wanted to show, because Trump did have a statement in reference to the unaliving of the woman. And he's saying that she was a paid agitator. So let's listen to what he had to say when asked the question about it.
The vice president yesterday suggested that Renee Good, who was killed by this ICE officer, was part of a broad left-wing network. What has your team told you about this broad left-wing network? Who is in charge of it? Who's part of it? What's it called?
Well, I haven't seen the vice president's statement, but he's generally very accurate. I hate to say it. Look, I watched that yesterday, and there are a lot of different forms to it. But there was a woman screaming, "Shame, shame, shame, shame." She was a agitator, probably a paid agitator, but in my opinion, she was an agitator, a very high-level agitator, so professional. She wouldn't stop screaming. I said, this isn't a normal situation. This is a professional troublemaker. Because you heard it and I had it. Now, I will say this. The news sort of turned her down, turned her off, because you're trying to watch. She was so loud and so crazy and just not normal. When somebody sees something like that, they don't go screaming and the same words. So I guess you could say professional, but I didn't think she did a very good job. You have agitators, and we will always be protecting ICE, and we're always going to be protecting our Border Patrol and our law enforcement.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
As you should. They put their neck on the line every day. They want to go home to their family. And it is what it is. For those that want to play the game and take a risk and gamble, you're going to get what you earned, unfortunately, and it may result in the loss of your life. I hope people will wise up and say it's not worth it. I want to go back home to my family. This little bit of chump change that I've gotten from this organization is not worth the risk. Let me just tap out and go on about my business. Please do this. Now I want to go now to this mayor, because he had a lot to say. A little bit of a rant. I'm going to play that real quick. A portion of it. I don't think it's the whole speech, but it's a portion of it, just to give you the idea of how the Democrats are not in support of anything that Trump is trying to do. And they want to stand in the way and paint a narrative that Trump's doing everything wrong when they're playing dumb, like they don't understand what Trump's doing. It's a year in that he is getting rid of these illegals, and people are still stupefied because they got a lot to hide. And they want to put, camouflage out there, distractions out there, scapegoat Trump, make him the big racist, act like America's supposed to be open for business for anyone that will have America, like we're supposed to be the whore of the world. What the hell's going on?
In Minneapolis, if it's not a problem to have additional people at the table that have a deep commitment to the process and transparency and have run these investigations before, then why not include them in the process? The Bureau of Criminal Apprehension at the state of Minnesota has consistently run these investigations before. They have done so without bias. They've done so with a great deal of expertise. This is not some radical, way out there group. This is a group that is formed by experts who understand how to investigate. Many of them have been police officers themselves. We got nothing to hide from here. All we want in Minneapolis is justice and the truth. And speaking of the truth, let me give you another one. I have heard countless people talk about Minneapolis, many of them who have never been here, as some form of post-apocalyptic hellscape, as a place that is dangerous. Well, let me give you a statistic. 50% of the shootings that have happened thus far in Minneapolis this year have been ICE. In other words, we've only had 2 shootings. One of them has been ICE. We are a safe city. ICE is making it less so. By the way, we're not even talking just about full control here. We're talking about being at the table. We're talking about an investigation that includes the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. And for those that may say that we have a predetermined outcome, we are not the ones that are conducting the investigation. The investigation would be conducted by the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. They are well equipped to do it. They have a long track record of doing thorough investigations and, by the way, coming to results that both saw culpability and a lack thereof. What has this administration stated as their reason for coming into cities around the country? The reason that they've stated, safety, driving down crime. Well, let our statistics speak for the trajectory. They are clearly driving crime up. Up until last night, we hadn't had any shootings in this city other than ICE. So the question is, if there's no full independent investigation of this shooting, what will the effect be? I mean, I think it further undermines trust in government. Now, the quickest way that you erode trust in government is to refuse to enforce and hold accountable people on laws that you pass. There are laws that are around this. There are standards that are around this. They should have no concern about having a full and transparent investigation here. See where that investigation leads. Look at the facts, collect the evidence. And the fact that they are for some reason concerned about having other, by the way, police involved, other law enforcement involved through the BCA, that is wildly concerning. Donald Trump said that Renee ran the ICE agent over. Don't take my word for it. Don't take their word for it. Watch the video from every single angle. I mean, the ICE agent walked away with a hip injury that he might as well have gotten from closing a refrigerator door with his hips. He was not injured. I've seen worse injuries from doing that.
He said closing a refrigerator door with your hip. Oh my God. What? Oh, man, they look silly as F out here. Just saying anything that comes to mind. This man is a fool.
And so give me a break. No, he was not ran over. He walked out of there with a hop in his step. And so we just got to get to the point where we're at least operating from, hey, this is like, we're looking at it on the video screen. This is what we're seeing. Can we all see that it wasn't run over? And then, you know, yeah, J.D. Vance, this concept of absolute immunity is pretty bizarre.
I didn't realize how far away.
All right, so you heard that retarded mayor, Fry, and there was another one that I want to show. You know, speaking of putting things in the right perspective, there is a Chicago, I think, is he a chief? Hold on, let me see. All right. I don't know if he's a chief or not, but he's about to break it down about how dangerous it is for the authorities when dealing with these protesters and everything that's going on right now, so that hopefully you can be in the mindset of what they see and how they view stuff to understand how serious it is to them and how dangerous it is to them.
Federal agents, ICE, HSI, are officers. They are agents of law enforcement. If you box them in with vehicles, it is reasonable for them to believe that they are being ambushed and that this could end in a deadly situation. And it's reasonable for them to use force based on those conditions. Do not box in any law enforcement officer. You are breaking the law when you do that. And you are putting yourself in danger. Following law enforcement agents around. The question is why? What do you plan on doing? It's also reasonable for them to believe that you're eventually going to do harm to them. If you ram any vehicle, especially that one that contains law enforcement agents, and that's any law enforcement, local, state, federal, county, and you do this intentionally, this is considered deadly force. Deadly force is anything that can cause great bodily harm or death. When you plow into a vehicle that contains law enforcement agents, you're using deadly force.
Okay, he said that very clear for those that are slow on the back. All right, so let me play one more video and then I'll come to the chat room and see what you guys have to offer to this conversation. I'm not trying to be, what do you call it, callous about the woman that lost her life, Renee Good. Rest in peace to her. She just made the wrong decision, though, in this situation. That's all I'm saying. She made the wrong decision. And unfortunately, it's not something that you can turn away from once you made that decision and you lose your life. It's too absolute. And speaking of which, there was another shooting, I think like the very next day over there in Portland, where 2 people were shot and sent to the hospital. I want to play that. They are suspected to be a part of the Tren de Aragua, people that I believe are from Venezuela. And I think it's been suspected that they too were trying to use their vehicle against the ICE agent. And he responded accordingly and shot both of them. So things are ratcheting up. It's not slowing down. It's getting worse and worse and worse. Hold on, let me get to this. Please hit the like button. Please share, subscribe to the channel. And here is the video. Hold on.
Welcome to Hannity, and tonight we are live in Washington, D.C. for my exclusive interview with President Donald Trump. That's moments away. It is his first sit-down interview since the U.S. captured Nicolas Maduro. But first, tonight we do begin on the other side of the country in Portland, Oregon, where an investigation is now underway after an incident earlier today where U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents fired their weapons in the line of duty. The agents, thankfully, are okay. The two other people were hospitalized with gunshot wounds, one of whom we are now learning is believed to be a member of Tragedly. Anyway, our very own Kevin Cork has an update on all of this, a full report. Kevin.
Evening, Sean. As you pointed out, a Border Patrol agent shot two people in Portland, Oregon this afternoon after the driver of that car allegedly attempted to run over federal officers. Now, this all unfolded about 2:19 local time, Pacific time, of course. That's when agents identified themselves. This was, by the way, a targeted stop of an alleged member of Tragedly, the Venezuelan gang. Now, after the agent identified himself, the driver and that passenger, who's also believed to be a part of that gang's prostitution ring, tried to weaponize the vehicle and run over law enforcement officers. After the driver, of course, was hit by gunfire, they were found about 10 minutes later. The driver and the passenger were both apparently hit. As you point out, they were taken to local hospital. Sean, we do not have an update on their conditions tonight. Now, this, of course, comes on the heels of yesterday's shooting in Minneapolis of a woman who also allegedly attempted to speed off in the direction of officers despite being told to get out of the vehicle. Of course, she died from her injury, Sean.
All right, and Kevin, we are expecting some type of...
I think there is a video where they did show the pictures of the people. So let me see if I can find that real quick. They lived, but, you know, they didn't want to stick around to be questioned. And they used their vehicle, according to ICE. And that's where a lot more people are doing, is using their vehicle against the ICE people. Hold on. Release cell phone footage from the Minneapolis shooting involving... Okay, I played that already. We already saw that, so that's nothing new. All right, here's something. The Border Patrol chief slams Dems' violent rhetoric as anti-ICE protest rage. Let me play this real quick, and then we're going to conclude this topic and move on to the next topic. I'll come to the chat room before I do that to see what you guys have to offer. But I just think that we have got to support the authorities trying to do the heavy lifting. Do you guys want to see America turn into a third world country with no law, being lawless, having lawlessness, being ran by whoever decides to act a fool? This is not what America should be all about. So Trump is doing what a real president should be acting like on everything. And everybody wants to twist and turn the meaning of what he's doing to make up narratives that does not apply to illegals. It does not apply to them, y'all. Hold on.
Is here reacting to all of us. It's great to see you.
Officer Bovino. Is that correct?
It's Agent Bovino.
Agent Bovino. Okay. Well, Agent Bovino, it's great to see you here. It was interesting to be on the ground today at what they call as a vigil, and it seemed like it was a community gathering. It seemed pretty peaceful. I mean, they don't like us, but fine. But it seemed fairly peaceful. Although, man, they police their border pretty well there. I mean, they don't like anyone in their area that doesn't agree with them, which I found interesting.
Oh, well, Laura, thanks for having me tonight. But it's very interesting how intolerant some of those individuals are when you talk about them policing their own border. We see that quite often, as you know, out in the streets here in Minneapolis, Chicago, Los Angeles, New Orleans, Charlotte, all those places we've been, we see exactly what you're talking about.
Illegal aliens have every right to be here, but conservatives have no right to be here. I mean, that's basically it.
That's exactly it. That's what they're saying. That is what they are saying. This violent rhetoric, whether it's a Tim Walz, Newsom, a Pritzker, that is what they're saying, is they're choosing those illegal aliens over American citizens and over American law enforcement. It's reprehensible.
I was told that yesterday, and I was told this today by a 26-year veteran of the Secret Service, that he has never seen a time where state and local officials had not supported the visit of a cabinet secretary to this state. And yesterday, there was no support of the visit of Kristi Noem, who came to address the horrible tragedy of yesterday. Is that surprising to you? I mean, you all usually work together.
It's always surprising. State and local law enforcement and federal law enforcement have traditionally worked together on a myriad of missions, whether it's protecting a cabinet level member coming or that local law enforcement effort helping us. They've always supported us, but we don't see that now. Today out on the streets, Laura, I didn't see it as well. We were in Minneapolis. We had assaults, all kinds of violence towards Border Patrol agents. Where were the police?
Yeah, well, and Tim Walz is speaking out a lot today. We have another clip. I want you to react to it. Let's watch.
We have learned that the Trump administration has now denied the state that ability to participate in the investigation. And I just want to make this as clear as possible to everyone. Minnesota must be part of this investigation. These are nonpartisan career professionals that have spent years building the trust of the community.
Well, your reaction to that? I mean, he's like, it's the fault of you guys. We can't build trust when ICE comes in and does its job, apparently.
Exactly. You know, Laura, we are making these communities safer places. We already are building that trust. If you ask 95% of the American citizens that we come into contact, they absolutely love what we're doing. But yet, Governor Walz detracts from the trust that we're trying to build in these cities, in these communities across America. It's amazing.
I mean, this is getting, I mean, this is not getting. We have a dead American. We have other, injuries in Portland tonight. And they're not stopping. They say, let's tamp down the rhetoric. So they say that, and then there's always the line, like implying or concluding that this was almost the murder of this Renee Good yesterday. And I've got to say, I engaged with one of the protesters today, and she said, they're not making our community safe. It was at the vigil, and she was, it doesn't make us safe. In fact, they're causing the problem. And I asked her, I said, well, what about the sexual offender who was picked up today? Isn't that good for the community? Like, the police could do that. The police should be doing that.
Yet the police will not touch immigration. We arrested 2 illegal aliens from Somalia today on the streets of Minneapolis, both with significant
sexual assault. One of them is a sexual
assault, and others had very long rap sheets. Where are the police arresting them? Or if the police do arrest them, why aren't they turning them over to ICE and Border Patrol? When you ask them that, they don't seem to have an answer, Laura.
Your message to those tonight who believe the protests that are breaking out, and again, it's not that many people. It's really, I mean, there's some real bad actors, other people that seem to be there and they're just holding their signs and they're screaming in their bullhorns, but it's kind of not, it's not that bad. I mean, as far as what I've seen in the George Floyd era, hopefully it doesn't get that bad, but they want to push you guys out of here. Your message to them tonight.
You know, every city we've been to, whether it's Chicago, Los Angeles, or now Minneapolis, take a look at what President Trump and Secretary Noem have accomplished. Double-digit figure drop in crime. Let me say that again, Laura. Double-digit figures drops in crime, and that's why we're here. And you're going to see that here in Minneapolis starting yesterday.
All right. Agent, great to see you as always. Can't believe I didn't see you out there. I think they all.
And I had heard that the Governor Walsh was talking about deploying the National Guard for him to like get in the way of ICE. Let me find that real quick before I move on. Tim Walsh on National Guard. Okay, hold on. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't understand how ridiculous we can get, but apparently too ridiculous. So he wants to have the National Guard.
This morning, we learned that an ICE officer shot and killed someone in Minneapolis. My deepest condolences to the family, to the loved ones who had to learn about this tragic event on national television. We've been warning for weeks that the Trump administration's dangerous, sensationalized operations are a threat to our public safety, that someone was going to get hurt. Just yesterday, I said exactly that. What we're seeing is the consequences of governance designed to generate fear, headlines, and conflict. It's governing by reality TV. And today that recklessness cost someone their life. I've reached out to Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem, and I'm waiting to hear back. Let me be clear. Donald Trump and his administration may not care much about Minnesota. That's been pretty evident. But we love this state. We won't let them tear us apart. We'll not turn against each other. To Minnesotans, I say this. I feel your anger. I'm angry. They want a show. We can't give it to them. We cannot. If you protest and express your First Amendment rights, please do so peacefully as you always do. We can't give them what they want. The hearts and minds of the people in this state are on our side. To Americans, I ask you this. Please stand with Minneapolis. To Minnesotans, know that our administration is going to stop at nothing to seek accountability and justice. The State Bureau of Criminal Apprehension are working on the investigation. We have activated the State Emergency Operations Center. State Patrol and Minnesota National Guard leadership is connected with the Minneapolis Police Department, the St. Paul Police Department, Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, the DNR, and Minnesota's Homeland Security and Emergency Management. We have activated dozens of members of the State Patrol's mobile response team. And from here on, I have a very simple message. We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're teachers in your community. They're business owners. They're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait. We will continue to update you, Minnesota, as we get more information. This morning, we learned that an ICE officer shot and...
How ridiculous does that sound? A warning to have the National Guard to do what? Oh, my God. But here are the two that were shot in Portland, just to let y'all get that real quick.
It's 7:30. We do have breaking news just into the newsroom. We've just learned the identities of the two people who were shot by Border Patrol in Southeast Portland. According to the Department of Homeland Security, the driver was Luis David Nico Mancada. The woman with him was Yorlenis Betsabeth Zambrano Contreras. Fox 12's Mackenzie Richmond joins us now with more on this shooting. Mackenzie?
Well, I'm live right now at the scene of the shooting where it took place here at 2:15 yesterday afternoon or around then. Now, here in parking lot is exactly where it happened. We're at OHSU, the Adventist Health Hospital campus right now. And more than 12 hours later, you can still see that this is where the shooting happened. And there's an active scene here with 6 security guards on standby. You can see one of them there in front of the medical office's front door. Now, I was here at the scene yesterday. that the Department of Homeland Security says Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop of Luis David Nico Moncada, who they say is an illegal immigrant from Venezuela and is a suspected member of the Tren de Aragua gang. Now, DHS says when agents identified themselves, Moncada then, quote, weaponized his car and allegedly attempted to run over law enforcement officers. That's when an agent fired shots. Moncada then took off from the scene with a passenger in his car. She's been identified as Yorlenis Betsabeth Zambrano Contreras, now also an illegal immigrant from Venezuela, and an alleged member of the Tren de Aragua gang. Portland police confirmed both of them were shot and were found several miles away outside an apartment complex with apparent gunshot wounds. They were both then taken to the hospital, and we don't know the extent of their injuries. But once this news broke, neighbors in the area gathered at the scene of the shooting, saying after months of protests and now a shooting, they want federal agents out of the area.
We've had the protests downtown.
Okay, so I want to wrap that up. I hope that some of y'all are convinced that there is a real big problem when it comes to protecting the ICE agents. It's a real big problem with supporting ridding illegals from America. And who is in the way of that? The Democrats, who's also in the way of that, different organizations and globalists that are propping up these anti-ICE protesters. And unfortunately, one lost her life. And, you know, people are more and more using their vehicle against the ICE agents. I mean, that's like one of, I've heard at least 4 or 5 times that they use their vehicle. In other instances, they have used their vehicle. And it doesn't seem like it's going to slow down anytime soon. So Trump's going to have to figure something else out, or I'm afraid that there's going to be some agents that's going to end up losing their life too. And that's going to be really, really jacked up because they're setting them up for failure. And it's not cool. TMC says play stupid games. Okay. So the roving Somalian games aren't a problem. Yeah, they're definitely a problem. I think you meant gangs. Yeah, they're definitely a problem. They're trying to get all of the illegals, and they're also investigating the Somalians with all the scams that's coming out. In fact, I'm going to do a live coming up soon, probably Sunday, where they had some type of hearing involving talking about that. And I wanted to play some of that interaction, but I'm not going to put it on this live right here. You said, lady, you're not helping raise the vibration. I'm not trying to raise the vibration. I'm trying to tell the truth, Patricia. I'm sorry. I cannot be fake and phony. I don't know how to do that. I can't make something sound nice when there's a whole lot of mess going on. I can't clean it up. It's too bad. It is too sad. I got to support ICE. I got to support Trump. That's where my loyalties lie. And it's to raise the vibration is to tell people to comply, to tell the illegals to tap out and go home. It's over. You had a nice run. You had a vacation. You had a lot of money and did a lot of things behind the Democrats allowing you to do so, but that time is over. And it's time to go back from where you come from. Stop kicking and fighting and screaming and crying for rights that don't belong to you. You are not a citizen. You are not American. You are not entitled. That's what the Democrats lied and told you. But that's not the reality today. Face facts. It's over. You said, how many car crashes have the Somalis racked up? I'm not sure if they racked up any car crash. I haven't heard. I did see a video of one Somalian being questioned about his status as an American or not, and he got all indignant and acting all wild. I'll see if I can find that video maybe. But it said how many the safety of actual citizens of the United States. Tren de Aragua bullet sponge, you said. Not without the help of Walsh and Ihan, of course. Of course. They don't want what's coming down the pipeline. This Tim Walsh knows he done effed up. Knows that he bent over for the Somalis. Knows that he allowed himself to be used as a whore. And he don't want all that stuff coming out, so he trying to change the topic. And it's not going to work. No, 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 no. I'm not going to let it work. We're going to keep focus where the focus needs to be. You said, of course, criminals try to flee. Exactly. Ihan definitely in on it. She has to go. In my opinion, she got to go this year. She ain't got to go to Somali, but she got to get the hell out of here. What happened in Las Vegas County Country Festival? What happened? Is there new news about that? Let me see. Las Vegas Festival. Let me see if something comes up. Don't say that something else done happened already, Lord. The Las Vegas massacre. Oh yeah. I didn't really look into that story. But why was it covered up? This is 18 minutes long. Hold on, I'm going to save this story and maybe come back another time and talk about it because it's going to kind of throw off the live. But I'll look into this and see, because I heard about it briefly, but there's so much going on. I can't keep up with everything. It is really extreme what's happening right now. And I'm just like, whoa, but I will get back to that. Thank you for letting me know about that. Or reminding me about that. She's super yucky. Yes, they all need to go. Yes, they do. Not to mention the casino was sold by its owner about a week before. Then when the value of it went down, he rebought it. Condoning fraud, defending fraud. Yes, sir, he sure is right. Tim Walsh should go to prison for inciting violence against the federal ICE agents. Exactly. It's about this. It's because the state is a suspect. Sounds like sedition to me. We have Epstein and pictures. Who is safe today? Why aren't the police there to escort or make sure ICE is following the law? They should be there. They're no-showing right now because the mayor and state won't allow them to. Exactly. The only Mr. 9. The judges need to be held accountable for the actions of criminals they let back out. Bingo. Mr. Magoo, who is that? The public of Somalia, the hypocrisy is palatable. Yes, it is. Take your lies on the road, you dog food salesman. What are you talking about? You on a crash course, whatever. Yes, the loser Tim is definitely a loser. Can't keep his job. Tampon Timmy. What a buffoon. Tampon Tim. Yes, he definitely is. I guess he's getting forgetful, doesn't remember Summer of Love. That was a name to give him. But he had the nerve to say he needed to have tampons in the men's restroom. Like, you should have known hearing that man was not wrapped tight. If he couldn't figure out that the Leering Center was a scam, what makes Timmy think he might understand the footage from the shooting? I know, huh? They don't look crazy at all. Who don't look crazy? Oh, God. So you're saying the blue-collar workers are going to defend your stance? All right. Alan says, oh, they were very nice-looking citizens. No, they weren't. And they weren't citizens. You're talking about the Portland Venezuelans that were illegally here? They're not citizens. Are you warning the feds that they're going to bear arms against them? I don't know. All right. It is definitely dangerous. People think they are above the law. They are idiots. Exactly. ICE, F around and F and find out exactly. Federalize the National Guard and Tim Wallace can't do nothing about it. Or you mean Tim Walsh. Trend Day Aragua is a vicious game in that gang. That's who I was after, okay, ICE. We the people have voted the power of our vote in action, exactly. You have the so right. This is giving up, never give up. Just like Muhammad Ali in the desert with Jinn, okay. Wokeness, you fighting for criminals is not valor. I can't see anything. Who is talking? I'm talking. You don't need to see who's talking. You need to listen to the words. Exactly. Thank y'all. I just wanted to read off because I don't want you guys to think that you're writing in vain, especially if other people are not responding back. And I appreciate everybody's input and thoughts as to what you feel on. I'm not 100% perfect, but I'm on the side of America first. That's what y'all need to know about me. I'm not MAGA, but I am American first. And I believe that we have a right to protect ourselves. I think we have a right to enforce law. And I don't think that what Trump's doing is extreme. I think that he gave fair warning while he was campaigning what he was going to do. And it's been a whole year that he's enacting what he's doing. And people should not be this confused after all this time. There should not be all this fakeness that's going on. But let me play one more clip because a lot of people, and then I want to play a clip of, I forgot to play Homan. But I want to keep in the minds of a lot of other Black people that are out here to know that it's okay to support America and support Trump and support the ICE agents. We don't have to be in a monolith. We don't have to be controlled by everybody that is an outsider of America. They don't have to have the power over us any longer. Stand on your own square. Look at things as they are and stop being manipulated by the Democrats, please.
I mean, he was what we call a G. Always in the middle of things, instigating, arguing, fussing. He was funny to us. I mean, he been putting in work for so long.
Telling us that we ain't shit. Like, y'all don't think that y'all better than us. Like, it's been plenty of, and I'm not saying all immigrants, because I got some cool ass, I'm not talking about all of them, but majority of them are racist. Like, I've been around Mexicans, I've been around Asians, I've been around Filipinos, and they all look at Black people as if we're the bottom of the barrel, especially Black men. You feel me? So, yes, we at a time where it's like we ain't got nothing to do with it. Like everybody else, anytime that we're fighting a battle or we're protesting, nobody gives a fuck. No one gives a fuck. And to be honest, maybe y'all should think about this. Maybe Black people ain't protesting because we already know this shit don't do shit. We've been protesting for how many years, and do it ever change at all? No, it don't. Like, we're just starting to be more aware of what the fuck going on. So what Black people started doing is getting money. We have put ourselves into a position where we're focused on trying to fucking survive. They don't want us to leave fucking America. They're not doing y'all how they did us. And not saying that it should be a tit for tat thing. I just want y'all to understand that we are sitting out because we don't see what's the reason. If you came here illegally, if you go to any country illegally, they're going to deport you.
This is why you
bingo, and we gotta have that mindset. We got to not be on the side of illegals. There is no benefit for you, Black American, being on the side of illegals. Where is there a blessing for you in that? There is absolutely no blessing. You are a useful idiot. if you're on the side of all these illegals, and we're talking about millions of them. We're not talking about a handful of them. We're talking about millions upon millions upon millions of them. That is not a blessing for us. So y'all need to wake up and share the message of the truth as it is. Believe it or not, Trump is on our side. He's on Americans' side, and that includes you too. And the last thing I want to play is from Tom Homan before I move on to the next topic, which is about Ishowspeed. He is a YouTube creator who is very popular, and he's running around in Africa right now, and people are lying and claiming that he's influencing Black Americans to look at Africa totally different now, and oh, we got a new love, and some people were seen crying, and that means all of us are crying. It's so ridiculous. I'm so sick of y'all for always using Black Americans for your propaganda. We do not care about Africa. We're not studying Africa. I don't want to visit Africa. I don't give a damn who goes to Africa. But you guys keep on bringing us up, and it's annoying. And there's issues with this Ishowspeed. Ishowspeed seemed to not know where he was born. And I want to talk about that after this video. Hold on.
For that shooting. He says he's fed up with New York's sanctuary laws and that he will flood the area with immigration agents to arrest people wherever they find them.
Political reporter Marcia Kramer is here with that part of the story now. Marcia.
Well, Christine and Joss, Tom Honan made it clear that he's fed up and especially angry with the city council that went to court to stop a deal with Mayor Adams to allow ICE agents to arrest people on Rikers Island. He says the new policies mean that people who are not criminals could get up and then could get caught up in the new dragnet.
Sanctuary cities are now our priority. We're going to flood the zone. You don't want to let us into jail to arrest a bad guy in the safety and security of a jail. You want to release him into the street. So what we're going to do, we'll have more agents in New York City to look for that bad guy.
The shooting of an off-duty Border and Customs Patrol officer in Fort Washington Park has Tom Homan saying no more Mr. Nice Guy, no more playing footsie with Mayor Adams, and hoping he can convince the city council or the courts to let ICE agents do their thing on Rikers Island and open an office there.
Sanctuary cities get exactly what they don't want, more agents in the community and more agents in the work site. If we can't arrest a bad guy in the safety and security of the county jail, then arrest him in the community. And when we arrest him in the community, if he's with others that are in the country illegally, they're coming too.
It's unclear just how soon Homan plans to flood New York with more federal immigration agents, and just how many asylum seekers who are not on the Fed's wanted lists could get caught up in the new actions. It's also unclear whether Homan plans to send his agents into schools, churches, hospitals, and other places that so far have been places where asylum seekers have felt safe. But one thing is clear. Mayor Adams doesn't want innocent people swept up in the raids. The feds, he says, should limit themselves to going after people who commit crimes.
If he's going to assist us to go after those individuals, I welcome it. If it's going to be to go after everyday individuals who are trying to complete the path to be a citizen, then I don't think we should do that.
Well, the question now is whether
Well, this video must be an older video because Mayor Adams is no longer a mayor. But this video was just, okay, this was 5 months ago when Tom Homan had mentioned about the sanctuary cities. And like I said, they're trying to hit every part of how the illegals have spread out, and they have been allowed to hide there in the sanctuary cities, and they're trying to attach or get at the sanctuary cities as well. So I just played that just as a reminder. I thought that it was a recent video though. I don't know what happened. Anyways, let's move on. Like I said, for those that don't know, I am a Black American all day. I tend to call myself Indigenous American Black, which is designating me away from immigrants, which a lot of the immigrants that come over here from Haiti, Jamaica, Africa, and the Caribbeans tend to want to hide behind our identity. And they're basically trying to discredit our existence in America. They're trying to discredit our history in America because they want to be also what we are, which is Black Americans. And so we are delineating. We have been delineating since about 2018, where we call ourselves other names. We have abandoned the term of African American because so many other people have attached themselves to that name, and it has pretty much been bastardized. And we have taken control over our identity for the very first time and not allow others to name us. Think about it. We were called Negro, colored. Some were called mulatto. Some were called freedmen. Some were called Afro-American, Black American, African American, and we're sick of others naming us throughout time, confusing who we are. We're taking power over our identity by saying we are American. The best part of remembering what I'm saying is for those to understand millions of us see ourselves as Americans. But there is propaganda going on with immigrants and Pan-Africans that are trying to force us to become African against our will. They are in cahoots with Democrats. They did the year return to Ghana in 2019. You had Nancy Pelosi and other Democrats, even Kamala Harris, went to Ghana, given the okay, the green light for them to orchestrate this so-called notion that we're returning to Africa. I see it as a hustle. I see it as a scheme. I see it as a way of discrediting us as being Americans. I see it as a way of trying to dislodge us from being known to be a part of this land. Why I say that? You have Ghana running around right now claiming that we are a part of a region, I believe 17, stamping African American, anyone in America is a part of this so-called region. Under what authority? He's just claiming people that are not claiming him. It's very disrespectful. He's running around acting like a slave catcher. And why do they want us to be a part of a region? All because they think what we have $1.3 trillion spending power, and they want to have access to the money. They are greedy, beady-eyed, lying, scamming Africans that I don't want nothing to do with. In fact, for those that may be thinking I'm talking extreme, did you know that Ghana has a past minister of finance that was wanted because of his scammy ways? And he just was caught recently. And I had talked about this scammer back in 2021 because he is related to the then President Addo. I think it was his cousin, running all kinds of schemes in Ghana and doing the most. And he's recently gotten caught. So no, I don't want nothing to do with these Africans that are in power because they see us as a lick. And I don't want to be used and abused by people that I'm not related to and I don't give a damn about. But look at this before I go further.
Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Eye on Africa with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, Ghana's fugitive ex-finance minister is held by ICE in the US. Ken Ofori-Atta's been a wanted man ever since last February, accused of corruption. He's now reportedly detained by US immigration in Virginia over his residency status. Also, just over a week from Uganda's presidential vote, and amidst long-held complaints that political space has come under pressure, we hear from our correspondent who's spoken to colleagues of a human rights activist recently arrested. And the calm before the storm as AFCON ramps up for the quarterfinals. We take.
Let me fast forward this. Get there already. My God.
Introducing automated mileage tracking
Hold on.
with Soho Expense.
As he tried to me from on the run from authorities at home since last year. But it's US immigration who has him detained. Ken Ofori-Atta has been in the States since January 2025, reportedly for prostate cancer treatment. But he's now being held at a detention center in Virginia as he tries to sort out his visa status. Justice Baidu tells us more.
The Immigration and Customs Enforcement of the United States of America detained Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, Ghana's former finance minister, on Wednesday, January 7, 2026. His lawyers in Ghana say they are currently working to have him released, and his detention is in connection with his continued stay in the United States beyond his allowed days there. The news of Mr. Ofori-Atta's detention comes as some sort of good news to the Ghanaian government that has been working for months since February of 2025 to have him extradited to Ghana to face justice. The government says Mr. Ofori-Atta has played key roles in several scandals that has led to the country losing around $500 million of state money.
Again, this guy was the finance minister to Ghana just a couple of years ago. He is the cousin of the past President Addo, who was accused of a lot of unsavory criminal scamming tendencies that he has. And most of the people that are in the government in Africa are corrupt individuals. Now you have a new president, President Mahama, who has declared people that he don't have no rights to. But he's given the go ahead by the Democrats and Pan-Africans that it's okay to just slap the African-American term on documents and declarations and proclamations, claiming people that don't want nothing to do with his ass. I don't want nothing to do with these elitist, scheming, lying ass so-called Pan-Africans, because all they want is what they can get from people for free. And their spirit is on the level of this character right here.
So Ofori-Atta's case is one of several of the past ministers in the administration of the New Patriotic Party that lost power in 2024 that are currently running in several courts in Ghana. At the beginning of the government's term in January of 2025, it said that it is estimating to retrieve over $20 billion in looted funds that are with several
$20 billion in looted funds. And y'all think somehow Black Americans want to rub elbows up with people like this? No, we don't. Let me know. I'm going to let y'all know if you're Ghanaian, if you're a part of this scheme of the so-called Region 17 by this President Mahama. I denounce and rebuke you. We might have to do a class action against y'all. We don't want nothing to do with you. You didn't ask for our consent. Who the hell y'all think y'all are to try to claim somebody that's not claiming you? The nerve of y'all.
Members of the past government. Mr. Oforiatta is believed to be one of the most powerful members of the erstwhile New Patriotic Party administration, in part because of his relationship with the former president Nana Akufo-Addo, and it is believed that his detention and a possible trial would open doors to several other cases that the government is following.
In the other case that they need to be following is that notion of a Region 17, the notion of African Union claiming a sixth region, stamping the name of African American on different papers, talking about they claiming us for that. Ain't nobody care about what you talking about. You don't own us. We don't owe you. You're not related to us. Get the fuck on. And the reason why I'm so passionate in speaking this way is because now we have Ishowspeed, who's running around in Africa, dancing around in the dirt with different Africans, with different theatrics that he's doing and backflipping and all this type of jazz. And people are pretending like Black Americans are falling in love with Africa. The fuck? No, I ain't. I don't give a damn who you send to Africa. It ain't changing my point of view. I'm not African. I'm not from Africa. I'm not going to Africa. And I don't give a damn about how you feel about it. Okay? If you're so concerned about Africa, start with the Africans that are migrating all over the fucking place. Go holler at them about why Africa is the place to be. Leave me out of your bullshit is what I'm saying. But let me give you a sample of what they're showing, and then we'll get into the fact that this guy, Ishowspeed, is confused on where he was born. He said at one point he was born in Angola. Another time he said he was born in Portugal or Peru. Another time he said he's born in Ohio. I don't understand why you're so confused on where you were born. Again, he is a machine for propaganda. This man has at least 47 million subscribers. So he's well known and he's showcasing himself all over the place. He's famous, but it ain't moving shit.
I thought I was gonna fall off that car. I stood tall though. We still got Rongo, chat. Rongo is still here. Yes, sir. Rongo is there. Rongo doesn't only exist in the outside. That's in here right now. We got Rongo from Africa, chat. Oh, wee. Yeah. Yo!
Cool.
Let me fast forward a little bit more. Hold on.
All right, Chad, I'm out of pee. I got to pee so bad. So you guys try.
Yeah, can you text Switch to get the photo camera now? Text Switch to get the photo camera now.
Whew. Chat, let's use the toilet, then let's do some kung fu, bro. Baby, calm down, calm down. Slow down. Wait, where did that dance even come from? Baby, calm down, calm down. Wasn't it? Look at the kitty cat. Look at the kitty cat. Okay, thank you. All right, I just gotta.
I gotta take a piss. It's on you guys. Did you copy that, Bailey? Hey, Rudy. So, why always trying to flex?
Let me fast forward this goofy shit. Okay, here we go. So now they want to pretend that they're Asian. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. Really? Whatever.
I gotta do it with him, y'all. I gotta do this with him. Hey. Why are they so good, though? What the heck? What the hell? Africa got everything, y'all. He got to run. Oh, two finger push-ups. Can he do it? Can he do it, Jack? Can he do it? Can he do it? Can he do it? Oi! 2 finger push-ups.
I'm sorry, but I'm not impressed. I don't give a damn what type of tricks you have, what you're showcasing. He ain't moving to Africa, okay? And this notion that we are all going to get emotional because he showed up to Africa ain't working out. It's not working out. Now, the question about his father was letting it be known that he's not African. Hold on, let me find that video. And they had a back and forth about that. And it was confusion about where he was actually born. I don't know why somebody has to lie about where they were born, unless you're about deceiving the people that's watching you, or you hope that's watching you are under the spell of whatever you're selling. But I don't understand why he does not know where he was born. Let me find that video. Hold on. Now, this is his so-called father. And his father outright says he's not African. But Ishowspeed is trying to do propaganda to try to convince Black Americans that it's cool to claim to be African. I am a full-grown woman. I've only known myself to be American. I'm not changing my stripes and colors because this fool showed up in Africa. He's not changing my position as being who I've been. But he had a back and forth with his so-called father, and listen to the confusion about where was he born. Why is there confusion about where this man is born?
Like, yo, you're an American, but we from Africa. Who from Africa? I've never been to Africa. But you're African. Your descendants is African, Dad. But you know how far of a descent that is, though. That's the 1900s, and we've been here. We've been in America our whole life. You think you're just pure American, bro? Yes, man. Yo, what? What? Yes. What? No, man. No. Yo, he's slow. No, we're not African, man. No. So what are we then? What are we? What am I? American. Yes, I was born in Portugal, Dad. African American means
So you just heard him say, I was born in Portugal. Another video that I showed says that he was born in Angola. And he's going to say in the same stream as father that you were born in Cincinnati. Why is there confusion about where this man was born? Peep game, y'all. Keep listening.
born in Africa and you moved to America. What? You're black. Okay. What? My grandmother was born.
Wait a minute, he just said, hold on, let me play that again.
Yo, he's slow. No, we're not African, man. No. So what are we then? What are we? What am I? American. Yes, I was born in Portugal, Dad. African American means you were born in Africa, then you moved to America. What? You're black. Okay. What? My grandmother was born 1910 in America. Her mother was born 1875 in America.
You know these fights that has been going on between black Americans. Some black Americans believe.
And the confusion is, most of all, why do Africans give a damn about what we claim? Why are y'all so obsessed about what we claim? Come to find out that the father on his father's side is Jamaican. So he's not technically an indigenous American black. But why is this bucktooth, beaver-looking African even concerned about what we call ourselves? That's all they seem to have energy for. You ain't got nothing to do in Africa, nothing to figure out, nothing to think about, nothing to change about what's going on in Africa. You're so consumed about us. But listen to them.
They come from Africa, they originate from Africa. They believe their ancestry originates in Africa. And there is another group of black Americans who doesn't believe they have any connections with Africa. They believe they have...
Because we don't. I don't have any relatives in Africa. I don't share any rituals or traditions or language or culture or food. Nothing. No, I don't have nothing to do with Africa. And it's okay. If slavery didn't happen long ago, this would not be a conversation, but it is. And y'all having a hard time accepting the truth, which is you severed ties 400 or 500 years ago, and we are claiming ourselves from where we are. We don't give a damn about what you're talking about right now. We don't give a damn that you're desperate, that you're asked out over there in Africa, and suddenly you think we're supposed to be an option for you? Suddenly you think we're supposed to be the solution for you? Who the fuck are you? You got over 1 billion Africans that you can rely on and talk to, and yet you don't know how to do that. You only know our name, and we're sick of that shit. Stop scapegoating Black Americans and making us carry the burden of your bullshit. We don't want nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with Africa. They believe they are not in any way related to Africa. You understand? These are the ones calling themselves FBA or Foundational Black Americans.
Or Indigenous American Black, or ADOS, or other names we like to call ourselves. Some like to call themselves Indian or even just American. We do not want to change our identity because you showed the fuck up. Who are you to us? Go talk to your neighboring Africans that are feuding with different tribalism issues. Holler at them about their identity. Start there. Why are you coming all the way to America worrying about little old us? Again, it's all about a scheme, a scam of trying to get whatever we got attached to us. And we don't like that shit. We don't like it.
I think this Ishowspeed's dad is also one of those people who believe they have literally no connection and no history with Africa. So I want you to carefully watch this argument between Ishowspeed and his dad, and then we come back.
I am African. No, you're not. You're an American. But we from Africa. Who from Africa? I've never been to Africa. But you're African. Your descendants is African, Dad. But you know how far of a descent that is, though. That's the 1900s. We talking. That's not that far. We weren't in Africa in the 1900s. I mean 1800s. Yeah, it's still African descent. It's still African descent, right? But just because you wasn't born in Africa, you're still African descent. All right, but my mom's father's Jamaican.
So he acknowledges his Jamaican identity, which this clown Ishowspeed never brought up. And his father is busting him out saying we have ancestry to Jamaican. This dude is a walking contradiction, wanting to bring about confusion to Black Americans in hopes that he can trick us to want to put him on a pedestal, to revere him, make him an idol to us. I ain't doing that to this funky motherfucker. The fuck I look like. He is paid to lie to us and trick us. Black Americans don't give a damn. We're not studying Africa. More than that, Africans are not studying Africa that got away from Africa. And yet y'all think that we supposed to care about Africa more than Africans that fled? And we ain't doing that.
That's Jamaica. That's still Africa. No, that's still Africa. No, it's not. Jamaica and Africa is not the same. Africans came to Jamaica, to the Caribbeans. Yes. Jamaica is basically Africa. It's just no, it's not. Yes, it is. They don't even speak the same dialect. I know. I'm talking about the race. The actual. Come on, man. Bro, I'm not. Obviously, I'm not. Yes, it's different culture and different language. I'm talking about the actual skin, the race. At the end of the day, we're all African. But yes, there's no but.
Again, this is the propaganda trying to claim everybody's African, and they want that to be the case for Americans living in America that don't have no connection to Africa. This has been their agenda, their propaganda, and they're propping this dude up to sell the lie that we are rejecting. I am an American. I don't give a damn what you're going through. I don't give a damn how much money you've been paid. I'm not African. You can be African. Take your ass to Africa and go on about your business.
What? At the end of the day, we're all African. So, Dad, you think you don't got no African blood? You think you're just pure American? Bro, yes, man. What? What? Yes. What? No, dude, no, man. No. Yo, he's slow. That's low, bro. We don't, man. We've been here. We've been in America our whole life.
You think you just pure American?
Bro, yes, man.
What? What?
Yes.
What?
No, man. No.
Yo, he's slow. That's slow, bro.
Oh, we don't, man. We've been here. We've been in America our whole life.
Yo. What? You're black.
Okay.
What?
My grandma,
okay.
My grandmother was born 1910 in America. Her mother was born 1875 in America. Come on, man.
Bro, what? He tripping, bro.
There's no...
And calling yourself an African basically makes you closer to being an immigrant. That's why the immigrants and the Pan-Africans are promoting us to call ourselves African, because they want us to be viewed as immigrants like they are. They want to take away our status as being Americans from America by trying to have us ask ourselves out of our own statuses by claiming African over being American. And this is the agenda. This is the trickery. This is the scheme. And this is why Ishowspeed has showed up in Africa to try to deliver this nonsense. But he knows, and many others know, that for years now we have delineated, we had made it known and clear that we are not claiming African American, and we're not claiming Africa. It's no disrespect. We don't hate nobody. We just want to preserve our identity and not have others that are not us come along and try to force us to say we're something that we are not. But they don't know how to just leave us alone, because the Democrats are a part of this. Globalists are a part of this. Pan-Africans are part of this. Scheming, lying, cheating, just like the Minister of Finance and just like many other Africans that are scheming and scamming and are corrupt in Africa. And they're bringing their scam to us. And they don't think nobody's going to point it out. Fuck that. I'm going to point that out. I ain't giving a damn about claiming to be African. I don't care to visit Africa. I don't give a damn how many celebrities you bring to Africa. They have nothing to do with me, and millions of us feel the same way. Period.
There's no African ties like that, dude. You tripping. Come on, man.
Yo, what?
My grandma was born 1910, dude.
Bro.
She had Nana at 43 years old.
You know, blood is transferred from ancestors, right? Our blood is...
Hey, easy.
You know what? Let's just stop, bro.
We've been in America.
Let's just stop.
Our family been in America.
Makes match more happy with game. Packages to REM.
Trust me, man. No, we're not African, man. No.
So what are we then? What are we? What am I?
American.
Yes, I was born in Portugal, Dad.
African American means you were born in Africa and you moved to America.
Okay.
Again, you heard him say he was born in Portugal. Another video, he said he was born in Angola. And pretty soon his dad is going to say you were born in Cincinnati. Why is there so much confusion about this dude's origin? What is going on?
But you wasn't. You were born at, what was that hospital name? What was that? You were born in Cincinnati, dude. Across from UC.
So his dad says he was born in Cincinnati, and you just heard him say prior to that he was born in Portugal. Why would someone lie about where they were born? What is the purpose of the lie? Like, they're scheming and scamming. This shit don't make no sense.
You was born across from University of Cincinnati. Who's that? Good Sam.
So basically,
Good Samaritan. That's where you was born.
So basically, we got Jamaican descent.
Yeah. My mom's dad's Jamaican.
Your mom's dad, Jamaican.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes grandma Jamaican. Was he born in Jamaica?
No. His father was born in Jamaica.
This is too far now. So now we're all the way off.
That's why we're Americans. Can you even speak like Jamaican dialect? Can you speak African dialect? Well, African dialect is like French, so.
Boy, you're black.
Okay. My grandmother was born 1910 in America. Her mother was born 1875 in America. Come on, man.
Bro, what? He tripping, bro.
There's no African ties like that, dude.
You tripping.
And you're born in America, that's African American.
What?
That means you're African. No, you're African American because you're in America.
No.
Oh my God.
I thought y'all said you have stop talking about this.
No. If both parents are African and they have a child in America, they're African. They're African American. All right. That child. Okay. Because that birth certificate is in America. It's not in Africa.
I guess.
Yeah.
I thought you said I wasn't gonna get too deep into this.
All right. It is.
I think I'm right.
No. That's the definition of African.
Anyways, I just wanted to show you the confusion behind this Ishowspeed, because he is running around to 20 different countries in Africa, trying to prop up Africa, trying to give the impression that he is the ambassador to Black Americans, which he is not. He ain't moved nothing. We don't give a damn about what he's going through and what he said and what he's saying. But you have many other dumb birds that's playing into the propaganda. Let me show you people crying and carrying on, acting like we give a damn. Like I said, they find anybody and they try to ensnare all of us to mean that we all feel the same way, and we do not. I don't give a damn what you're talking about. I'm not giving a damn about Africa like that. You go get them to give a damn about Africa. Find them. Let me see if I can find this video. Hold on. That's not it. Too much going on. Anyways, there were videos of people crying and acting a fool. If I can't, I hope I would find that video. But we ain't rocking with y'all like that. It's no offense, but we're not changing our mindset about who we are because of propaganda. We're not giving up our American identity for people that don't give a damn about us like that. I don't care about who you will bring to Africa. I'm still unmoved. Just like most of y'all that are Africans are not moved. And you don't want to have nothing to do with Africa, and yet y'all confused why I don't. I don't have nothing to do with Africa because I'm not from there.
Good though. All African food is so fresh.
Man, this whole time, bro, they made us fucking think Africa was such a poor country, bro. Such a place you wouldn't want to be at, bro.
Look at this effeminate ass dude. I'm so sick of y'all. Man, y'all need to be round up and just taken to a cliff to like walk off of it. You have no backbone. You look weak as hell. You're unkept. And you sound dumb. But yet they find these effeminate ass people to play this bullshit and act like we all feel this way. No, I don't. Use a bitch by yourself.
And Speed is single-handedly changing my perspective on life. Like the music in Africa, the culture, everything, every single aspect of Africa just makes my insides feel so good, bro. And it makes me just want to leave America. Bro, I feel like America is the trap. America is the trap. The American dream is the trap. Everybody else is free, but not free from America. America's the problem, bro. America's the fucking problem. And I'm ready to get the fuck out of here. Like, Speed, thank you, bro.
Let me tell you something that's going to
I just wanted to show y'all how ridiculous we are constantly pulled in different propagandas. First, it was ICE, anti-ICE agents. You had black folks screaming to the mountains about standing up to them and, you know, racist America, and we got to get together to change what's going on. No, we don't. We got to let Trump do his job by enabling the ICE agents to do their job. And if people want to be dumb and press on the gas in front of an ICE agent and they lose their life, then that's on them. And then you have this propaganda where you have one dude that is a well-known YouTuber. I'll give him that. He is over, let me look him up real quick. A whole lot of subscribers. He has 47.6 million subscribers. I'll give him that. But what's that got to do with how I feel about myself? Because he showed up somehow, I'm supposed to feel what he's selling? I'm not feeling what he's selling. I don't give a damn how good their dances are. I don't give a damn about what they show. It does not change nothing for me. And, you know, y'all need to know that it's okay to say what I'm saying, because people feel like I'm wrong for telling my truth. But I'm not wrong. Because if you stay silent and you allow all these other people to run game around you, run circles around you, give this impression that that's how we feel, we're going to wake up one day and have a whole lot of stuff happen to us against our will. And that's not what I want most of all. This is why I'm calling this stuff out early, because I see it as a threat down the line. I do not want nothing to do with Ghana. I don't want them claiming me under their jurisdiction. I am a citizen of America, and I did not say I want to change that. They need to pump their brakes and worry about the Africans that are fleeing all over the place and leave Black Americans the hell alone. I denounce all of y'all to assume that you can volunteer Black Americans to do anything for Africa. Get Africans to do something for Africa. Okay, start there. Now, to end this, a video came out where people were discussing how when they found out that Ishowspeed was coming, they were so excited because they were given word that he wanted them to be a part of his videos and showcase them and whatnot. And they felt like the exposure with this Ishowspeed was going to put them on the map. It was going to give them recognition, acknowledgement, validation, and all of that. But their experience with Ishowspeed, this dude is breaking out talking about, and he's saying that he basically was used as a prop to showcase Ishowspeed very quick and unfriendly. Let me just play this real quick, just to let y'all know that just because it looks a way doesn't mean that it is the way in which they're trying to make it look like.
Huh?
pop-ups? My name is...
Yeah, just watch the road, man. Watch the road.
The road, dog. Relax.
Good. Like, just turning around to talk.
Because it's not audible, so I'm turning like that.
It's fine, we can hear you, bro.
Alright, cool.
Hey, drive. Keep your eyes on the road, bro. Eyes on the road.
Rudy ain't trying to
Yo, bro, drive the car properly, alright?
Eyes on the road, man. Focus.
He's really a comedian for real, right?
Ishowspeed's recent trip to South Africa should have been a win for everyone involved. But behind the viral moments, a very different story was being told by the people who made it happen. On the PNC podcast, comedian and PNC podcast member Pops starts by commending Speed for putting South Africa on the map. But his criticism is immediately directed at the YouTuber's production team.
Didn't his security try and get at you for not looking at the road while driving him around?
Guys, you know what, man? This whole Speed production thing, first and foremost, I'll commend Speed for doing something that we weren't able to do as a country. Given our agencies, given our influences, given our celebrities. I think Speed managed to put South Africa and all the other places he's visiting on the map. I think Speed doing what has done a lot more than many campaigns they've done. So I commend his team for pulling that off and doing that. When it comes to the production side, I know there was this whole thing of influencers being ill-treated and mised and whatnot.
Sunned.
There, I think there's an element where the production team kind of threw people under the bus. And I'll tell you why I say so. They told the influencers that Speed would like to meet them. So as an influencer, you lose your mind. You're like, wait, what do you mean? Speed knows me? Yeah, he said he wants to see you. Oh, yeah. So you're there, you're filled with excitement. You can't wait. This guy is a legend, bruh. Like, yo, he's coming here, he wants to see me. Then the guy walks in, barely looks at you. What up, chat? You know, who this? Who painted this? Oh, this me. You standing there the whole time. The whole time you're waiting to go, hey, Speedy. The guy that said you're gonna come see.
Pops goes into detail about the scale of the local effort. He explains how he was contacted to be involved and describes how many people had to, in his words, move mountains to prepare for Speed's arrival and make the tour work. However, he states that they did not receive the level of appreciation they expected for going to such great lengths to provide a good experience.
I didn't know that was what happened. That is because I'll tell you how I got the call to link up with Speed. I got a call from a friend of mine who's part of the production team for South Africa, and he was like, "Yo, man, do you have like a kusheshe, like a order?" I was like, "Yeah, got." And I didn't want to say that. No, say your life, my brother. This man is in a Mashamplan music video.
Yes.
How many people do you need? I've got Titi on speed dial.
He'll be here now.
I was like, yeah, I'll send him a few pictures. And he's like, yo, Speed wants to link up with you while he's here in South Africa. I'm like, okay. This guy wants to see you. Like, okay, cool. Gusheshe, can you take him take him for a drive in a Gusheshe? Yeah. We want to just, take Speed, drive him around in some Gusheshes. He's going to be in Vilagazi Street, so maybe down there in the parking lot or somewhere there by Home Affairs. Then we just, maybe we spin or something. I was like, my brother, you are thinking small time. Relax. We've got this. And what I love most about the spinning community is when you call them, they call up, they come to you, bro. Because we understand that this is a victory for the sport. We've watched the sport come from something that started in the streets to becoming an actual recognized sport. And
And now we want to see its evolution where guys are driving across the world. People like Austin and Gatra and Sam are being flown out. Stacey are being flown out to other countries to spin for people. Because nobody drives BMs the way we do in South Africa. Do you understand? No one. So when that call came, it was a simple, take this guy for a drive and show him something. Me and Temba said, no, we're going to go all out here. We're pulling out all the stops. This was in 2 days. There was no event at Wheels and Smoke. So what you saw there, there was no event.
That's crazy.
We did all of that just to receive this guy and give him an experience. Dang, that was dope. So that call was made to Monday. Yeah. Then the word was put out in the spinning community, in the groups, in the guys, what, please pull up this, that. We're gonna have Ishowspeed come up. Some people didn't believe. They kept phoning Temba. But are you sure this thing is here? Is that same like?
It doesn't sound real.
Are you sure? Right? And that was the experience we built on the one side, so that he could experience that. That is a win for South Africa. That is a win for the culture, right? And when you have people who are going to that extreme, to those lengths, to go and put together something like that for you. You know, as a South African, you expect to be met to some kind of decorum and, oh, hey, this is so-and-so, this is what. So I think what annoyed me a lot with all those things is like, these guys aren't even cognizant of what's happening. They're just moving through everything. You know, we got to the meetup spot. Just immediately like, yo, what is this? Oh, this is the what? Okay, cool, let's jump in, let's move. So in my mind, I thought, cool, on our drive, I'll get to sit with Speed, we'll have a conversation so I can set up what we're going to do. This is what we're doing. This is what this culture is. This is what the sport is. This is the car that you're in. This is what we're going to experience. None of that happened because him and his cameraman sat on the roof for the beginning part of the video. When he jumped back into the car, because someone gave him these.
Another member of the PNC podcast supports this, stating plainly that Speed's team was rude and did not treat the local crew like humans.
That team was rude, bro, because like we had to pay to go in because we were we followed and we were kind of late. We also stopped a little. They didn't talk to us. So we late and we arrived and they're like, hey, you have to pay. So we pay. We're like, hey, just get inside and see this thing. So we pay what as we're coming.
And you're part of the convoy, you're not supposed to pay.
And as we're coming in, right, they're refusing us to come in. So we're talking to the lady, the producer lady, right? She's South African. She knows we still have to work with you, right? And she's in there and she walks past our car. She's like, I don't give a fuck about these guys.
Whoa.
Yeah.
She said it
out loud. Then I looked at her.
Monday comes to us and says, no, it says go inside. Then we're like, where should we park? It's like, wherever you want to park.
Uncle Monday.
Because they chased us out the gate. Then Uncle Monday was like, hey, bring them back in. What are you guys doing?
Hectic.
So we came back in again, and that's when she said what she said. And I looked at her face. I wanted to remember.
She tried to other you guys. I'm sorry.
Pops describes the logistical difficulties, citing how hard it was to communicate with Speed and his team and to get them to follow the tour plan that had been set up for them.
And there was kind of a few issues here and there. Sometimes Nelly never went with Speed, but we had to because I realized after some time that in order to get this oak to do something, you must plant the seed with him. They must talk about it in the chat. You must speak to one of the security guards. You must speak to one of the Then when he's in, then they set up for the thing. It took us a while to see the patterns and fine.
There was a clear pattern of how to communicate with him.
Yes, and no one tells you that, right? No, that's why sometimes people will go, oh, this guy looks like you're because you're trying to get something in to go, yo, what are we doing next? There's no direction. There's no producer standing here going, okay, cool, it's Speed, his cameraman, his bouncers, and you guys.
Another podcast member, Tsitsi, critiques the team's attitude, saying they lacked Ubuntu and had no decorum.
But also those guys, they don't have, like, I guess Ubuntu, they don't have decorum. Those white guys, they just came in the car, they just came in, can we get in with you? They're like, yeah, sure, they come in, they start doing their own things in the car, they're smoking their own things in there. So now we're trying to start like, hey, gents, so is it like this all the time? Yeah.
They're like so dead to everything.
Yeah. Then they start, they start talking. Then as soon as we try to get in the thing, they say, I think it's time to dip. They just opened the car without saying anything and left.
Pops shares a specific point of conflict, saying he was mad at how a bodyguard spoke to him. He understood it was a high-pressure situation, but felt the interaction could have been handled much better.
Hey, drive. Keep your eyes on the road, bro. Eyes on the road. Rudy ain't trying to go. Bro, drive the car, bro. All right? He's really a comedian for real, right?
In terms of the bodyguard, I understand where he was coming from, but I was so nada, bruh. What, like, if that guy wasn't so big, I was gonna move him.
Yeah, but he tried to chase me out of the car, remember?
If he wasn't so big, I was gonna roll him, bruh. But Anthony Joshua lost his two best friends in an accident in Nigeria. So I think part and parcel of why that driver was acting, the security guard was acting like that, was because there's that whole notion of like, we're in Africa, we're gonna die. They keep your eyes on the road, man. And I'm trying to tell this oak to say, my brah, first of all, this guy that I'm supposed to be talking to is sitting behind me.
I can't talk to the screen.
Behind him is power pipes. Oh.
Can't hear.
Every time I speak keeps going, huh?
Can't hear you.
Oh. So I go, keep your eyes on the road, man.
So we're going straight, dog.
Bruh, you know the legend himself, Aka, said it. Composure. Know yourself.
Know yourself.
I had to compose myself, bruh, because that guy was irritating.
Right.
That guy got him. Because
when he did the note, I was
at the end of the day, I'm like,
he minus note out of that stream. With one swipe, a note.
The point of me showing this is that it's all about production. It's all about showcasing him in the best light to influence Black Americans. They didn't care about who they were meeting up with, who they were having in the video. He was not there to know the Africans per se. He was just there to show up and to get the most production and the most action to try to influence Black Americans. And like I said, it's all a scheme, propaganda that most of us don't readily care about. And I'm just letting it be known for those that are confused, we're not a monolith. It doesn't matter if you show one on a video happy in Africa, does not mean that all of us feel the same way that person is showing Africa to be, because it's all a show. We all know you're putting on a performance, and it doesn't change my point of view and my attitude to understand that I am an American and I'm not changing my colors because you showed up in Africa. Okay, go get the Africans that do not want to be in Africa and try to persuade them to go back. Leave us alone. So with that being said, I will be back hopefully on Saturday, or no, it's not Saturday, that's tomorrow, Sunday or Monday. And we'll do some more about what is going on in America pertaining to Trump and everything that has happened in the last couple of days. Moving forward, I will talk on. If you have not yet, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you, and bless up.